try to look away when you're staring me down with daggers. I'm not sure what to say, but no matter what, it don't matter. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. Out of my body. I don't know how you do it, yeah. But there's a rhythm in the room and I can't keep up. Or do you feel it moving? A bit of bitters in the wound, yeah, it feels like us. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. Out of my body. If it's alright, won't you say why? Know you got plans, but I got the time. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend a little bit more than we like to pretend. If it's alright, won't you say why? Tell me your sins and I'll tell you mine. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend. Give it a try, baby, pull the pin.
Oh, excuse the ambience. Things seem to be loading a little slow today. Uh, but let's jump straight in. A hand drums against the wood of a desk. Long white hair drifts down past the shoulders of a seated individual and along a set of ornate scholar's robes. Though we don't see his face, we see where he's looking. 3 letters sit unopened on the table in front of him. The first, a beige letter with the crest of House Sather pressed into black wax. No doubt another request for audience. He'd have to send one of Drist's puppets to deal with that. The second, a scroll bound by deep purple ribbon. The sect of unbound secrets had finally bitten, it seemed. Good. And lastly, a black letter bearing no seal. The slashed symbol of an hourglass embossed on it in gold. He lingered for a moment before picking it up and cutting it open with a small knife. The continued cooperation of the Shadow Hand has been secured. Though they are unhappy, they will not cause us problems. All preparations are nearing completion, and we are on track for transportation as per the timeline in a few months. When their son returns from the preliminary tests, I'll begin drip feeding them the gates we've acquired. The man leant back, letting out a sigh of relief. A new influx of hunters would surely put them one step closer to victory, and that, he was sure, was only a matter of time. Veer. As you step through the gates, a familiar sensation of glass shards sort of washes over your body. The air becomes humid and warm, and you find yourself stood in no more than an inch of water, as around you you see the remains of some kind of temple. Tree roots and vines intertwine thickly with the stonework, and a low canopy above you causes the sunlight to stream through in patches. The whole area looks flooded, and puddles and pools send water reflections dancing across the various stone archways which lead off deeper into the ruins. And that is what you see as you step through initially.
Wow, holy shit. Okay. I'm like, I think Vi probably looks around. So this is a dungeon. The inside of a gate.
Well, it's a little more well planted than I initially expected. This is quite nice.
I heft my wooden training greatsword up onto my shoulder.
Mhm.
Let's not be too carefree here. Might look nice, but well, I don't think I have to tell you the dangers.
And Isla gives a firm nod, and you see her sort of like struggle a little bit, but successfully sort of notch an arrow into a bow. And Nikki kind of smirks a little and sort of stretches her arms above her head. Well, we should probably get a move on before all those groups behind us get through. We're meant to be looking for plants, right?
Among other things, from what I remember, I think there's a few things here that could be of interest to us. If we go for plants, then we can make a fair amount of money. Some of them go for nearly 30 gold apiece.
Damn. That better be a nice plant.
I suspect it would be. And then there are spark shards. If we kill beasts, I think those will go for a pretty penny as well. All of those spark shards. Let's see, how much are spark shards worth? They were written down somewhere. I tell them to. Yes, I remember. It's about like the low quality ones at 10 gold pieces a piece. And the pristine ones can go for even more than the plants, up to 40 gold. So there's a bounty of things to find here. And who knows what secrets this place holds.
The way I see it, we've got two options here, so what do you say? And she flicks a small coin up into two of her fingers. Heads or tails?
I'd like to have a look around this opening room and see if there's any secret passages.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll me an investigation check.
Sure. Oh no, my sheet is in the wrong tab. There you go, I fixed it. Cool. Sorry, just figuring out my sheet again.
It's okay, no worries.
Okay, my rigged odds charges are still gone. That's very annoying. I still have charge in me. That's all fine. Investigation is intelligence, and I have no way to skew that. A 4. That's so bad.
A 4. You're looking around. You're like going through some of the stonework. You push your hand against one of the rocks, and it has a little bit of like give for a second, and you press in a bit, and there's like a horrible crunch as your hand pushes through some like hard vines, and you feel like a horrible skittering for a moment as like a small lizard skitters out over your arm and flees back away around the corner. But nothing particular. The stonework here is odd. It almost seems like while it almost looks like the brickwork is made up of individual bricks. If you actually, now that you've like pressed your hand and a bit of it is crumbled, the further in you see, it's actually more indented, like something has taken the form of a wall but hasn't necessarily been constructed brick by brick. But the others are going to look around as well, and you see Isla walk around to the back wall, and she runs her hand sort of over it and brushes some of the moss out of the way and goes, that's really weird.
What's
Weird,
that?
look at this. It's almost like it's trying to mimic writing. And you see sort of on a small tablet on the back of the wall this like what is almost like some kind of runic inscription, but it's complete like jargon. If you squinted and were looking at it from far away, it might look like there was some kind of mural or something carved onto this wall. But maybe an intelligence check quickly.
Yeah. So my stats I am least good at, but I will try. An 8. I've rolled nothing but bad red rolls.
You look at this and you almost feel your vision sort of like go a little cross-eyed and blurry as you're trying to like focus on it, and it's just like a mess, and you kind of have to pull your head back and shake it off. So it's almost hard to look at.
Again, anybody else read this? Doesn't seem like it makes any sense to me.
It doesn't really make any sense to me, but I know this kind of thing appears a lot. I think there are some scholars over in Manacle working on a cipher. There are patterns that are reoccurring. I'm not sure if it can be deciphered. It might be worth writing down.
I nod. Will you take a note of it?
Of course. And she pulls out a book and starts sort of chicken scratching it down.
My handwriting isn't as nice as yours, I'm afraid.
And she jots that down, and Nikki's sort of like looking at it sideways as well and gives an evident shrug.
Make any sense to you?
Oh, sorry, hold on. Sorry about that. What was that? Sorry, people came in.
No, you're okay. I asked them, does that make any sense to you?
No, not at all.
Well, I suppose we've written it down. No point lingering here. And I want to look at the tracks. Where have people gone?
Where have people gone? You see, luckily, you land directly into water, so there's a pretty good tell. You see more people have gone to the right than to the left. But you can't see much like further into either of those rooms. You see water in both of them, and you can hear it sort of like, not sloshing about, but you can sort of like hear the drips.
I say we go left.
Sounds good to me. Well, lead the way, I suppose.
I nod. I nod even, and I walk around the corner to the left.
Wonderful. You find yourself, in a very sort of like long room. It's got another one of these almost like bath-style basins. And as you're sort of stepping there, the room itself is relatively empty, apart from at the far side, you can see sort of a reptilian carcass.
Does it look like it's been harvested?
Yeah, it's like you can see it's almost been like skinned. So whatever sort of like scaled body it had at some point has been sort of taken off of it, and its claws are gone. But you see almost like just half submerged in the pool, this like recently dead crocodilian creature. But as you're studying it, you do actually spot, just out of the corner of your eye for a split second as it catches the light, a small glint in the pool.
I'll head over to it.
You head over to it. Make me a perception check.
Oh man. 22 and a crit. Let's go.
22 and a crit. You look for it and you pin them down pretty quick. They're very hard to spot because they're partially translucent and the things that they carry within their bodies, similarly sort of translucent spark shards, from a top-down perspective, are also quite thin and hard to see. But you see a small shoal of fish, maybe like no bigger than the length of your pinky, swimming around, and they seem to be just like see-through, apart from this almost like spark shard wedged in their bellies. And as you sort of like lean over, your shadow creeps across the water, and they shoot away.
Hey, I say, there are fish in the water. We could capture them. They have spark shards.
You see Isla sort of like go to pull her bow back and aim at it, and Nikki just sort of like grab it and lower it again. I think that bow might destroy them completely. And Isla goes, oh, yes, no, that does make a lot of sense. Do we have a net, or are we just gonna, she does like a little clawed hand.
I think about it for a moment, and then I take my shirt off and tie the sleeves and the hole where my head goes through, so that it's like a makeshift net. It's still fabric, so the water should leak through, but it'll be enough to capture the fish.
You see Nikki sort of nods and goes, hey, that's smart. And Isla's like turned her head to the side and is not looking.
And I'm gonna try and use my shirt to capture the fish.
Yeah, go for it. You can make me a sleight of hand or survival check.
I'll take a sleight of hand.
Wonderful. You sort of like roll up your feet, and Nikki also sort of rolls up her trousers, and you both sort of like wade in. And she sort of goes to the other end and tries to sort of shepherd them in your direction.
19.
19. Wonderful. They're weaselly little things, but with sort of like Nikki's help, she pushes them towards you, and you've sort of like positioned yourself right in the corner. And as they sort of swim by, you manage to sort of like swoop around ahead of their path, and you get a good chunk. Would you like to roll me a d10?
D10. Yeah, I would, and I'd be like, hey, Isla, yeah, make sure you capture this when we capture the fish. 5. Can she make that like a 20?
She can.
Don't actually waste a 20 on this, but like a high roll would be good.
You see she sort of like goes to do it, but as she's sort of framing you, she's sort of very clearly a little bashful about this whole situation, because she's like framing you, and she knows how kind of like weird it looks, and you're shirtless, and she's like not sure how she feels about that, and she sort of like, it fizzles. She sort of like can't focus on it. She is, oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I got it too late. And you get 5. A couple of them manage to sort of like flop out past you, and Nikki sort of laughs as they slap the water and swim away. And you get 5 low tier spark shards.
Epic. Okay. Nice. Is it worth trying to capture the rest of them? I
mean, there's probably so many people getting, the plants would probably be worth more.
You say that, but actually these spark shards are worth quite a lot. Each one of them is worth like 10 gold each.
She seems to look at Nikki for almost like help for a second, and Nikki just is sort of like grinning, and she turns away a little embarrassed. I'm just. Could you put your shirt on, please?
I like open my bag and like put the fish in there, the shards, and then I like shake out my shirt. And I guess I put it back on, untying the knots. Very well. Let's keep moving.
Sorry.
How humid is it here? I'm imagining it's quite humid.
Pretty humid. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like
So this will dry out fast.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just like it goes from like being pleasantly cool to like it gets kind of like hot and clammy pretty quick, and then it starts to dry out.
Yeah. I mean, the humidity, it'll be fine. I'll nod and be like, well, made 50 gold. It's not so bad start. Let's keep moving.
Is that do you normally fish like that?
I say, not many fish where I am, but I don't know. It just seemed like a sensible thing to do.
Yes. Well, Nikki sort of slaps you on your back. Good job. And you have 3 sort of more options. You can head back the way you came from, or you see 3 sort of different routes. 2 sort of more northward, 1 going sort of more west.
New map, cool.
Oh,
we do.
Yeah,
we do have a new map.
Yeah,
Oh.
you do have a new map.
Oh my god. Yeah, hold on. Oh, wait. I need to lock everything else apart from maps, and then I can scale it in the recordings because they're different sized images. Okay. No, you're okay. All right. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. This is a large room. Okay. I kind of turned saying, is that a little secret spot in the bottom left there? Oh, dude, I'm such a freaking goblin, man. Can I go check that bit of wall?
The like tiny bit of wall where there's like a tiny little nook where the art is drawn. Yeah, that's not anything.
Okay. I'm gonna. I can say, well, we have some options. But if we're going for full completion, we can follow the left wall all the way.
That sounds smart.
Yeah. But that might be what everyone else has done. Can I see where the tracks are?
You can clearly see that like there was recently a fight here, so a lot of water sort of been kicked up onto the sides. And with how humid it is, a lot of the footsteps sort of past this point has very much evaporated by this point in time.
So fun thing about humidity, that's how much water is in the air, right? So as a result, when it gets hot, the water doesn't evaporate because the air is already like saturated. So it would, in theory, linger longer, but that might not be the case here. So let me know.
You can't see any of the directions people are moving past this point.
Very, very understandable. I would say. Dude.
It's fake humidity.
No. I mean, also you could say that there's like holes in the ground and like in the cracked rocks where it could have like just flowed down into. There's so many ways that you can have this happen. What I'm kind of concerned about is you've told me that there's other parties moving around and I want all the loot. So I'm like, do I go for efficient pathing and like trying to hit every room? Or should I rush up into the middle and hope that's where the loot is? Do you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's just head left. Left hasn't failed us so far.
Okay. You sort of reach a point where you go to the left, and that stairway starts leading downwards. And you very quickly get to sort of like a little option, a little choice in the road. Give me just a moment. Yes, so you sort of it's very shallow, but the rockwork sort of goes down and then levels out and then goes down again. And it leads in sort of 2 different directions. One opens up into a large sort of like circular chamber covered, like surrounded by these pillars. And the other one, as you look up, way more overgrown. It almost looks like the wall has kind of like collapsed in on one side of it, and there's just like hundreds of what almost look like mushroomy dome-like plants in a bunch of different colors.
Okay. One moment. I have broken the OBS? Okay, cool.
That's okay.
There you go, I fixed it. I can see there's like blood in that main one.
If you take a peek down into that room first, you can see that there is sort of like notably red blood, which you know is significant because that's human blood. It most of it looks dried. There is a tiny amount by the door that is catching the light. But you can also see on the far side of the chamber there seems to be almost like a temple doorway that leads out of this sort of. You can see where the canopy sort of like lifts, and it seems to lead out into open jungle. Past this point, so congratulations, you found one of the dungeon exits.
Okay. So what? Mechanically, what does that mean?
So, mechanically, there is a large building as a part of this dungeon, which is the temple. This is a place that you can explore. It's got stuff going on here. If at some point you decide you want to go out and explore this particular gate, which is larger than just this like main building, there is more sort of like dungeon out there to explore, but I do not have a map for it.
Okay.
Because it's a vast like jungle area.
Is there like a good reason to do that?
No, there's like you can do what you want. It's not going anywhere.
Okay, I will head north then.
Wonderful. You head
I will
north
also tell
and
people to look out for traps.
yeah, they will. You can make me an investigation check if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to just like try and spot stuff. Also, does this look like it's been recently traversed? Like, I'm looking for like, I want to be in places where like ideally like other people haven't been yet, because that means the good shit is more likely to be here. An investigation. I super wish my intelligence wasn't so low. 10.
10. You look towards this room ahead of you. It's a little smaller than the others. You think it's like partially crumbled in, but the floor is lined with these like dome-like, colorful, almost mushroom-looking plants. You can see on the far side, up from the like where this wall has collapsed, there is a very weird-looking root sticking out of like one of the top bits of the walls. This kind of like almost like it's got more of like a silvery sheen to it than the other sort of more mangrovey roots that are clocked about here. But it's as you're sort of looking in towards this, Nikki would sort of like grab your shoulder and give a bit of a nod to the middle of the room, where you can see there is what looks like a trail where people have like moved through this, and it starts very, very straight, and as it gets to about 10 foot in, it becomes like super wiggly and exits out the other side.
I think there's some kind of trap.
I'm not sure it's a trap per se, but if they're mushrooms, I know some of them can be a little, you know, recreational.
Could be a spore cloud.
Could be some kind of thing like that.
There's an easy way to try. Well, we could. How easy does it look like it would be to watch our step when walking through?
It would be not like super easy, but definitely doable. If you were careful where you like put your foot, you notice there are some that are like larger than others, and you think if you stepped on some of the small ones, it probably wouldn't like your foot would crush it before it could like puff anything out at you.
That root looks to be. Could it be the fabled root of all skills?
You have no idea.
I turn. You know the quartermaster, right?
Oh, me and June, yeah, we go way back.
So do you know the stuff he collects?
I know the stuff he makes.
I nod. So you wouldn't know if that's the root of all skills?
No, I'm not a plant kind of person, but if it's in here, I'd probably pick it up regardless. He'll probably have some kind of use for it.
My thought is that it's the only thing that is root-like. Are there any like vines or anything in here?
No, looking around, it's mainly just like this like one abject root sort of sticking out of the wall across the way from these like very like eclectic, colorful domed mushrooms. You see Isla sort of reaches down and is sort of studying one of these, and it almost like pokes it with her arrow, but not the like dome part. She almost presses down the foliage around the base of it and goes, I think they're connected by like a stalk. We might be able to get these up too.
Okay. So she's saying we can harvest our way there.
We might be able to, yeah.
Okay, I'll assist you.
Wonderful. You assist Isla, and she'll sort of she'll give this a go.
What skill is this?
This would be survival.
Okay, yeah, definitely assisting her.
Wonderful. Let's see then. Yep, good fucking job you did. She begins sort of like poking, and you realize once you get under these sort of like these are Surtur spores, by the way. Under them, you can almost like prop them up a little bit, and they sort of just pop out of the ground like a root vegetable. So she starts sort of doing this, and you see at one point she almost like moves her arrow to the side to like get her hands under one of them, and it gets like dangerously close to one of these, like popping one of these little mushrooms.
I think just like I use my sword to like swipe it out of the way quickly.
And she gives you a nod and will gather up a small bundle of these. How many does she manage to get? She got a 17, which is good. So she manages to grab 3 of them. And these are quite like sizable ones. There are a lot more in this room, but they're like nowhere near this big. These are like properly like palm-sized things.
So I write that down on my sheet. Or sheet.
Yeah, so you can write down you have 3 Surtur spores.
Yep, cool.
And you get within range of this like wall covered in vines. You will probably need to climb it, and she doesn't seem like super confident in that.
If I go up to the wall, can you climb onto my shoulders?
I might be able to. Although, Nikki, you might be better at that. And Nikki like gives a nod and will head on over. I'm a bit heavier than her, but I imagine I've got a better grip.
I nod. Don't worry. I'm from a little orphanage. The kids there climb over me all the time.
Alright then, give me a leg up. And she like grabs one of the vines. And if you give her a leg up, she will take a shot at that. Okay. She gets up, and you see like with your boost, she manages to sort of like get into a position where she can sort of start pulling on this silvery root, and she does so, and it doesn't move. And she's like, shit, this thing's properly in there.
Okay. If I pass you my sword, could you try and unwedge it?
I can give it a go. I could just try and give it a really good yank.
Do you want me to try?
Shit. Yeah, that might be for the best.
Okay. I help her back down.
Yeah, she sort of thunks down onto the ground next to you, and
Can you
she'll
tell
turn
me
around.
Any good footholds or anything up there?
That root right there is pretty good, but that one's crumbling. As in one of the rocks is crumbling.
Alright, I'll try and use that to my advantage to climb up.
Yeah, make me an athletics check.
Hell yeah. Is that with advantage or no?
Yes, that's with advantage.
18.
18. Yeah, it's no trouble for you. What is like? She's particularly dexterous, so getting up there was more of a means of like finding the right handholds. But you have sort of the brute strength of someone who can fully lift their body weight. So you're able to get up there, and you grasp a hold of this root, and she's not wrong. It is almost like in there more than a root should be able to be. But you find a handhold sort of like around the back where you see sort of the roots begin to spill out into the stonework. And you can roll me a d2 if you'd like. As you're gonna be able to pull this thing out.
And this is what where we need the 20. 1.
That's fine. You manage to sort of like rip it out of the wall, and you see that like a few little leaves are left behind, but it's not like you've got the bulk of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a thick, you'd have to like hold it in 2 hands, like turnip-sized root.
Oh yeah. I'll climb back down with it.
Yeah, you do. You clamber back down. It's not difficult. And yeah, you have +1 rootable skill.
Dude, I want to eat this.
You have no idea.
Yeah, but it's got a root of all skills. What if I eat it and it makes my skills go up?
Isla goes, that's a bit bigger than I thought it would be. Where are we gonna store that?
Will it fit my bag?
It will just about, but you're probably gonna like, if you plan on bringing other things with you, you realize this pack might get a bit full quite quickly. You have the strength to carry it.
Do you know what would be an absolutely great thing to find? A spatial storage ring.
That would be so crazy. That would be so crazy. If something like that was like in the test run, that would be so crazy.
Is it actually? Okay, right. We gotta find it.
That would be wild. That would be wild if something like that was in this dungeon.
I'm gonna look around. Where can I go? I assume there's nothing else here.
You think, unless you're like gonna have a crack at like trying to get any more of these spore clouds sort of like out of this place, you've probably got everything you can pull up from this room.
I ain't complaining.
Know there's a pathway northwards. You also know there are 2 other routes back through the long sort of like pooled hallway you were in before.
So is there a way for the up north?
Yeah, there's a way up north.
I will head that way.
Yeah.
Wait, actually no, because we know that people went that way, right?
Yeah, you see sort of like a route where someone has moved through, and then their route's sort of gone a little erratic.
Maybe we backtrack and go north?
Yeah, absolutely you can if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You backtrack, you go back up the stairs, and you begin to hear sort of like the vroom as like it sounds like people are maybe moving through the gate back in the direction behind you. But you reach a intersection, one that goes sort of like more up to the top left, and one that goes further to the east. Sorry, let me get a little route. You make me a perception check, please.
4. Hello.
Hi.
I got a 4.
Oh, you got a 4. You don't hear anything as you get to sort of like this intersection.
Did my party hear anything?
I'll roll for it. I'll see. Nikki won't have, her passive is too low. But can Isla? Nope. Isla doesn't clock anything either. As you move up through here, you can see that the room to the northwest of you that goes sort of like up and to the left seems to be a little bigger, just based off of like the sounds that you're hearing. And to the right of you, you see a much smaller room, but in the very center of it, there is a small basin.
Oh, go that way.
You go that way. And pretty quickly, you come into not a small room. Not like a particularly large room, but certainly a odd one. In the center of the room, there's a small stone basin, and something sort of like there's a very like shallow pool of water inside it, and something sort of glints from inside. As you see, it looks like people have kind of thrown a couple of coins in here. Nothing more than silver, but there's a few that have built up. Um, but as you're looking around and you get into this room, while these glints grab your attention to begin with, a shaft of light comes in from the canopy above and shines upon this huge ornate stone door. And you see what almost looks like this tribal carving of some kind of like reptile or salamander. And throughout its body, there are like 3 spherical indents where something is missing.
Can I examine the slots? What does it look like I need?
Yeah. You go and take a look. You walk towards it. Again, there's this weird sort of like inscriptive writing around the edge that's just gibberish and is difficult to look at. But you look at these index, and there seems to be spaces for just maybe a small spherical stone of some kind, but it's patterned almost like a fingerprint, where there's just like a ton of grooves all curled throughout it. Is this?
Oh. Can I put my thumb on one of the slots?
You can do. Your thumb is like very small compared to this. Is like a proper like fist-sized orb space, and there are 3 of them.
I see. Okay.
You don't think this is where they're keeping the big scary guy, do you?
The boss. It's possible.
Yeah.
Do they have a more technical term, by the way? Are they like anchors, or are they just called bosses?
No, they're called bosses.
Then, yeah, okay. There must be his seal behind this door.
Well, they've taken the keys away, which is probably a smart move.
That, or they're still out there in the dungeon.
You think that they'd give us the chance to tackle it?
I don't see why not.
Isn't that a little dangerous? Not that I don't think we're fully capable, of course. I
suppose it depends on how much stronger we get.
You don't think that maybe that's part of the test, do you?
I shrug. I doubt it would count against us if we were to kill a boss.
Some people did come here already prepared with weapons and armor and whatnot.
I suspect it's an objective for some of the more ambitious among us. I don't see a reason it's something we can't adopt ourselves. But I think we should keep searching around before we head that way.
And as you're sort of looking at this, you begin to hear murmured sort of like shouting coming from the right of you.
What kind of shouting?
Like panicked shouting.
I'll stick my head around the corner.
You stick your head around the corner and you just hear like, "Oh God, run for it!" As you see a group of like 4 kids your age, not some of these people in like padded armor at all, very much more your size, go running past you, and one of them goes, "Stay away from the fucking frog!" As they sort of like run past and down further into the dungeon.
I give the rest of the party a little glance.
Isla looks confused and concerned, and Nikki sort of like rubs her hands a little bit. Does that sound like a good fight up there to you?
It does.
What do you say? Want to go test out that new sword of yours, maybe?
I think it might be a plan.
And you head further into the dungeon. I hope this is okay.
No. I'm into it. I'm just considering like, kind of been so dangerous if they managed to run away.
You enter into a large room. You're entering into sort of like a rounded chamber where half of its wall has sort of like, you're not sure if it's been knocked down or if it's been sort of moved into it was always meant to be sort of like an overlooking chamber down into another one of these rectangular basins where it seems like the water is fully dried up. But as you're walking here, something catches your eye, especially as you see very familiar white, kind of translucent sort of flowers poking up between the grass.
Those are familiar to me?
Yeah, you take a step in and you actually look at these for a moment. These are the flowers that you buy for your mother.
Oh, shit.
These are glass flowers. And they, as you get down and look, there's a couple scattered in the grass where you are, but looking down into this sort of dried basin on, sort of below you, there's an abundance of them.
Yeah, we should collect these. These are glass flowers. They're worth
Are they?
money.
Oh, all right. Are they? They don't seem dangerous to pick up. And Isla sort of reaches down and plucks one.
I would say careful. They dull your abilities.
Oh.
That is right.
You're not 100% sure what they do, but that is that is like vaguely their effect.
That's what I would think they would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys set about sort of like plucking them up. Are you gonna stay on the sort of top area, or do you want to go down into the sort of lower basin?
I will. I'll take the stairs down into the lower base and have a look around.
Yeah, you look around as you get down there and begin sort of like searching through stuff. You catch out of the corner of your eye again what at first you think is the chicken scratch on the wall of this weird language. But as you turn to look at it, it almost pulls away.
What do you mean by that? As in, like, the writing?
Like there are carvings on the stonework, and then it from what you catch out of the corner of your eye seems to like disappear, almost like pull off of the stonework.
Where does it go?
Make me an investigation check.
Damn it. Let's find out. 10. Any idea?
Yeah, it pulls further into this, like, following this sort of patch of flowers, and you see there's a small sort of doorway that a pillar has fallen over, seemingly, and there is a deep sort of bluish glow from these flowers. As you peek your head inside, and you find sort of the collapsed side, like a small collapsed side chamber that is sunken enough in the middle that a pool of water has formed. And you start for a second as in the middle of this pool, first you see the sort of like strange white ribcage of a skeleton, half submerged. But as you actually look at it, you realize it's not made of bone, and it's also missing a skull.
Guys?
What is it?
Come down here a second.
They come on down, and Isla goes, "Whoa, that's freaky. That's not made of bone."
What's it made of?
I don't know.
I hold out, like, the training sword and I head into the room.
You do. It's very small. It's sort of, you almost have to like crouch whilst you're in here. The ceiling is sort of sunk down, and it is teeming with glass flowers. You get closer to this like skeleton that is slumped in the water, and Isla's right. It's not made of bone. You see the sheen of what almost looks like metal, and it's strange and sort of like white and almost like glassy and opalescent. As water sort of like doop, doop, drips down from the ceiling onto it and rolls off into this pool.
Can I pick it up?
You can try and make me a strength check.
16.
You go to pick it up. You find like a what's the arm bone called? One of the long arm bones.
Yeah.
They're sort of like to the side, and you reach down into the water and go to pull it up, and your whole body sort of like as you can't lift this thing off the ground. It is obscenely heavy. You can't even move it left to right. This thing is so firmly planted.
Do I think I could lift it on a good day, or?
What's your strength score? Or sorry, what's your modifier?
+5.
No.
Haha. This stuff is valuable, I say.
How do you...
I can't lift it. But imagine what a sword made of this stuff could do.
You see Nikki also sort of like reach down and sort of try to help you pry it up, and she also can't get any sort of purchase on this. And as Isla's sort of studying it, she goes, "Oh, I've seen this stuff before."
We have?
Yes, and it is really expensive. I think... Oh gosh, what was it called? I think it's called Cithril. It's...
You put that in law? That sounds cool.
It's meant to be ridiculously heavy to wear, but when you actually make something out of it, it takes on a much lighter quality. I've only ever seen it in some of the arenas from, we're talking some of the properly high-end duelists, but...
This could give us the edge we need to defeat the boss.
Nikki sort of scratches her head. Yeah, I'm not sure how you plan to get it out of here, though, let alone turn it into a sword.
Well, one problem at a time. First things first. These stones. If we're gonna keep this to ourselves, no one else can find this place.
Yeah, you're right.
We should try and stack up stones in the entrance. Block it off completely.
Do you think we could maybe bring the door down? The pillar's already lent. Maybe we could make a little... Well, I suppose we still want to get in here, don't we?
Exactly.
Damn it. I think I could probably help with that. If you and Veer move the stones, I'll see what I can do. And she'll step back out into the sort of dry basin and will frame in her hands the like doorway. Whilst you guys sort of work on it.
Yeah.
And make me a check, and she's gonna help. She's gonna assist.
A crit, 25.
Yeah, you find where
That's like a big
before
rectangular wedge of stone.
yeah, where you were looking before, where you saw like the writing sort of pull off the stone. There's sort of a crumbled pillar there, and it seems where the actual like walls of this place are almost like mimicking stonework. There are actually like blocks of stone here that are separate from that. So you and Nikki managed to sort of like almost inconspicuously pack these stones behind this fallen pillar so that the far wall looks like it's completely fallen in, but you know that if you push these stones back, they'll fall through on the other side.
Sweet. So we have a secret spot now.
Yeah, you've got a
And
secret
it's
little
filled with
spot
glass
there.
flowers. We don't have to harvest those right now.
You can actually roll me 2d6 if you'd like, and the other girls are going to do the same, because this place is teeming.
There's 6.
Wonderful. You also pick up another 6, and another 8.
So that is 12 plus 8. That's 20, right?
As Isla will sort of like bring you over a quite like nicely bundled, almost like bouquet of them.
Nice.
I think these are all the good quality ones.
We have some options. Now we have a secret spot. We can actually use it to hide things.
It'll definitely make for a safer spot than our rooms.
Actually,
cabin.
you're probably right.
You see Nikki sort of like snort a little bit and go, yeah, mine doesn't even have a lock on the door. I was debating just staying on the skyship, but I don't know if it's going to hang around for the full week.
Maybe we could. Oh, we got to be careful. If we're spotted or if we trek too many tracks in and out of here, could be suspicious. But harvesting all the plants at the entrance is certainly a help. Then, if we can get a chest in there and we're careful, I think it's definitely a possibility we could turn this into something useful. That's so sick. Oh, fuck. Okay.
You see, Isla thinks for a moment. Do you think it's odd that it didn't have a skull?
Well, perhaps. Maybe whoever killed them took the skull as a trophy. I say, just like shrugging.
Maybe.
Wait.
Well-
Do you think the skulls are the right shape to fit in the door?
I've got no idea. They might be. I mean, I didn't see any of the weird patterning on any of the other bones, but maybe the skulls are different.
I doubt it. Maybe, though.
We should keep an eye out either way.
You're not wrong.
And if anyone has managed to lift one of those things, we should be careful of them.
Definitely. We still don't know whether or not we're the first to go in there. But it did look like that was true, right?
Yeah, with the way, the sheer amount of glass flowers, some of them would have had to have been treaded on. And the only ones that you saw treaded were sort of up on that raised plateau where you think these people have previously run past.
Resting my hand up against the stone, do I feel the writing in any way? Like, do I feel anything weird about the wall or a presence?
Maybe an Arcana check.
Yeah, this is just kind of like an insanity vibe, but who knows? Maybe it pays off. Can't be too certain in a place like this. A 22 and a crit, just saying. Just saying,
You-
22 and a crit.
You reach out, and it's not so much that you feel something about the writing, but you feel weird. It's almost like you have a moment of deja vu for a second, although not for any particular like point in time. You just get like a very weird, almost a sense of peace for a second, and that weird sort of like ebbing in the corner of your eye sort of goes away.
What do you mean by that?
So like you've had, whenever you sort of like look at the gibberish stonework, it's sort of like it causes you to get a little cross-eyed.
Oh, I see. Can I see the writing now? Is it gone?
The writing is not here anymore. No, it's gone.
Okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. What just happened? But I'm going to. If I like, and there was nothing else in that room.
Not in the dried basin. No, not that you saw.
Yeah. Okay.
You can look around for longer if you want.
I know, but like, is this? Am I gonna lose treasure by stalling? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'll come back. We'll come back here. Let's keep pushing. I'll head back
Which way are you going?
We'll head north, I think. You see, there's a little pool of water there. Does it flow in and out of a hole like a channel?
No, the little pool of water that's there is just like a little, what's it called? It's just a little, like a puddle that's formed from
Any
water
fish?
that's sort of dripping down. No, way too shallow for that. You think maybe you see sort of like a small gecko or something sort of plop out of it and skitter away.
What about the orange flowers in the bottom right there?
You can go take a look at those if you want.
I could do. It's probably gold, you know, like in terms of. It's probably like candle bulb, would be my guess. Maybe. Could be cannibal. Cannibal is probably worth it. We'll go have a look.
Yeah, you get down there and you see sort of like dangling from the roof, very sparse, looks like someone has been through and gotten the ones that are lower down. There's a small sort of like smattering of almost like orangey red berries.
Mangleberry. I'll leave them. Let's head north. We don't have time to harvest this.
You head north, and again, it sort of opens into a much sort of like flatter chamber that has almost like a dip in the center. And in it, you see sort of like the light dancing off of a very sort of like still surface, this like clear, kind of like turquoisey pool. And in the very center of it is a single little lily pad. And you can hear like a little.
This is probably good. We know no one's been through here because the frogs kept them out. I draw my blade and I tell the others to be on alert.
Yeah, Isla's already sort of like got an arrow notched, and Nikki's sort of like looking around trying to find the source of the riveting. And it's not hard to see. There is a very small green speckled frog sat on top of this lily pad in this pool. And it almost, for a second, you think it's trying to like maybe mount a small stone that's with it. But as you watch, you see it sort of like opening its mouth, and it seems to be trying to eat about a fist-sized spherical object covered in fingerprint marks.
That's what we need. I'll approach it. And yeah.
Express how you what's you doing? What's your approach?
I'd say like, I'd be like, Nikki, fan out to the right, and then I'd then say like, you stay behind me, Isla, and then we'll push up into it.
All right. And as you get in, the sort of like croaking does stop, and you see this tiny little frog sort of like turn on this lily pad to look at you, although it doesn't jump into the water.
How deep is the water?
You look in. There's like, it's not that deep. It's maybe like 5-foot-ish deep, but you think you see like almost a hole that goes slightly deeper inside it. Make me an investigation check.
Nine.
9. Yeah, you can see through the sort of like still translucence of it. There is definitely some kind of like, you're not sure if it's a cave or just sort of like a crack in the stonework beneath it. But there's something there.
Okay. I will, be careful not to fall into that. And then I will, basically I'd say if things go south, we just run like the others did. And then I will try and get within range and attack it.
This thing is what, 5, 10, 15-ish feet into this pool on this little rock.
Yeah. I will wade into the water.
Absolutely. You step into the water, and as Isla's sort of like looking through, she frames her hands, and all of a sudden her eyes sort of widen. She goes, "Veer, wait!" And can you please roll me initiative? As around you, suddenly you step into this, and it is one hell of a lot more viscous than you first expected. As the frog jumps, doesn't go into the water, but instead springs off the back of a strange gelatinous surface as it rises up in a glob to strike at you with its pseudopods.
Oh fuck me! It's a gelatinous pond.
as the pool begins to sort of like shift
Whoa.
upwards, and a large slime-like creature is going to make a strike against you.
You paused your music, by the way. I
Oh, shoot.
will. No, you're all good. You're all good. I'm just letting
There
you
you
know. Okay, hold on. So so is the frog part of the slime?
No, the frog completely was just like stuck.
Oh. Okay. Is the right? I mean, this is fine. It's just a big old slime, right?
It is something like that.
Big old slime. Certainly not.
But it is going to attack you regardless because you have been ambushed.
I suppose I have.
It is.
So do I roll for initiative?
Yeah, roll for initiative anyway, please.
8.
8. Okay. So you go there. Yeah. Okay, cool. It is going to, you see two sort of like pseudopods as one sucks up around your leg. One sort of like reaches out and goes to lash at you for a 19 to hit.
Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this. We have some options. What's the best way? Do I have any actions, reactions?
No, this is an ambush round.
So I can't do
So you
anything.
don't. I'm afraid you can't. No.
Then that's a hit.
So you take 2 points of acid damage.
Okay.
And can you make me a strength saving throw, please?
I certainly can. I'm at 94% HP. Strength save. No initiative. Sorry, thing. Sorry, we don't have any. You know what I mean. Proficiencies. So it's just
nope.
a +5. So 16.
16 is enough. You feel this thing like suddenly very aware that this entire glob is a creature. You feel a sucking sensation as it tries to begin pulling you in, but you manage to sort of like pull your foot back out fast enough that it doesn't quite get you. And you only take half damage as it tries to engulf you. Oh, jeez. So that's 5 points of acid damage again.
Ouch. That was 2 attacks.
Yep.
What was the second hit?
No, so the second one was you take half damage and you aren't engulfed if you succeed the save.
Oh, right. So that auto hits.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So it has a...
Next up.
Okay.
Sorry, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm just like, oh shit, this is bad.
Nikki, you see, goes to sort of like grab a coin, and as she's sort of aiming it, she looks at its head, flicks it, and goes to fire it, and she goes, fuck, as the coin ding lands onto Tails and shoots into this thing. It does deal a bit of damage, but this thing doesn't have the capacity to be knocked prone because it is a blob. But it will take an alarmingly small amount of damage. Okay, but she might roll.
It's physical damage, isn't it? Or piercing at the very least.
As this thing sort of, you see the coin cut into it and then just like slow down and slowly begin to like undulate inside of it.
Actually, this isn't a bad lineup for me, because I think bludgeoning damage is still effective against them, right? This is metagaming, I guess. I don't know how it works here. Does it have any like obvious cause, or is it just like one big mass?
Yeah, it seems to be sort of like almost not more solid, but it seems to have like less translucent mass in the like glob that is facing you now. That has like come up to try and like grab at you.
Okay. All right. Let me know when it's my turn.
I shall. Isla is going to notch her bow and take a shot. She's gonna give it a crack. She hits. She managed to hit. Hell yeah! She goes, get off of him! And you hear sort of the twang of a bow. She similarly it cuts into this thing, and this one actually you see the arrow sort of make it out the other side, but it still sort of like slows down and is now sort of stuck in this thing. And it is your go.
Well, I am. Let's think. Yeah, I'm going to. Ooh, let's think about this. Acid. I think that'll be fine. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that mean to me. I'm gonna attack it with it is alive, isn't it? I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna hit it with a whirlpool.
Go for it. Make a whirlpool strike against this thing.
Well, I will do that. For a 20 to hit.
That'll do it.
I should say I'm targeting these cores. I assume that's just the general body, but if it's not, let me know.
Yeah, there's no targeting for this kind of creature.
Okay.
It is all general body. You swing your sword around, you go for the slice, and you realize that this thing isn't a difficult target to hit. It just seems to endure.
I dealt 12 bludgeoning damage.
You deal 12 bludgeoning damage, and as your blade comes in, you fully smash down on this thing, and water it pulls out away from it, and then slowly begins to creep in. But you see an amount of it actually come out and scatter to the side, and almost begin to evaporate.
Does that seem effective?
It does seem effective. It doesn't seem like this thing is particularly hardy. There's just a lot of it. It's got a lot of bulky mass that is shifting around right now.
So that was my action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break my bonus action down into reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all.
Okay. And then we go back to Nikki's turn then. No, not Nikki's turn. It is Mr. Slime.
Yeah.
And he is going to make one pseudopod strike against you. With his juicy tendril for 17 to hit.
It does hit, but I'm going to say that Farah, what was it? A 19?
17.
17. Yeah, I am going to use a heavy block to try and.
Yep, go for it.
Try and stop this.
Ooh.
What was it? Ooh.
That was the sound of 10 points of acid damage, swinging its way around towards you.
Because I missed. Oh wait, okay, so hold on. You've confused me. Is that a second attack or is that from this attack?
No, that's the damage for this attack,
Okay,
if you're
so-
blocking it.
Yeah, I was trying to block it. I failed. The other one is an automatic success of hitting me, right?
What do you... Sorry, I'm confused. What is the block that you're trying to do?
So the block I was doing was increasing my AC by 6.
You're making the dex save.
Yeah,
Yep.
dex save, but I failed my dex save.
Yes, so you take the 7 incoming points of acid damage,
So,
and then it's going to...
in that case, hold on.
Okay, yep.
You can do evasion and block at the same time, right? On the same attack.
Yeah, you can do a dodge and you can do a block.
So...
You just can't block twice, or dodge twice on the same set of damage.
And that counted as a dodge, didn't it?
No, that's a block, isn't it? The AC raise?
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to use dodge roll.
Okay.
And I'm going to move diagonally back to the one to the to the south west.
Mhm.
And to do that, I need to make a dex save against the hit roll. So 17. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's my bad. Technically, I shouldn't have given you the damage if you're using dodge roll.
Yes. But
But
either
it's
way,
fine.
we'll
We'll
figure
use
it
it.
out.
We'll figure it out. Figure it
Holy,
out.
why am I roll so garbage? I got an 8, so I'm getting massive damage. If it was it 7 damage before?
Yes, it was 7 damage before.
So I take
So it's now
11 damage. If we're all rounding up on 0.5.
Yep. So
That's
you
bad.
get slapped, and you feel almost like a horrible searing pain as you look down, and this thing has properly like not only slammed into you, but it's like pierced into you slightly, and it feels awful as this like burning sensation creeps up the side of your torso.
Ouch.
And it will lash its second pseudopod over towards Isla. So she needs to make a strength saving throw, which is not her forte. You see one of the pseudopods sort of fly out from Isla, who's sort of like just posted herself up by a pillar, going to take sort of cover behind it, and it wraps around her leg, and she yelps as she is pulled into this thing. And you see her immediately sort of like engulfed by this slime.
At this rate, I have 2 more turns until I die. This isn't good. Okay.
Okay. So Isla is currently restrained, but it's also not her turn yet, so that's okay. Nikki, sort of recovering from the momentary panic, is going to reach her hand out, and you see that coin from the inside of it suddenly sort of start to shake a little bit on the inside, and she is going to rip it back out towards her hand. And that again sends sort of like a splattering of goo, and she is going to just fully run in, I think, and try and do something. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. She can get there. You see her sort of like pull her fists around, and she is just going to go in for a punch. She's going to go in for a strike. For 17 to hit. And a crit. So you watch her just like come in, knuckles wrapped, and begin like pummeling this thing as she's almost trying to like burrow into it towards Isla. And she begins like.
Wait, is she sucked into the slime?
No, she's not. She's like half her leg deep in this like goop water, but it seems to be like it's not the bit that has reared up.
Yeah.
So you don't know what her play is, but she definitely seems to have like ripped a good chunk out of this thing. So much so that you have a pretty good shot at that like thicker section.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is going to be her turn. She will break her bonus action down. And then it is Isla, who is going to take some acid damage. She takes that. Yeah, you see her scream from inside the slime. It doesn't look. She's not looking too hot. But she is going to take her attack regardless. She can attack with her bow.
Yeah, actually, I'm just considering how my health was actually pretty good by the end of character creation, like way above average. So 2 turns, half of my health. Then the average person is probably dead, so that's not good. I'm sorry. You have 1 turn, I'm guessing.
She also uses a bow. And has disadvantage on her attacks right now. So instead of, she can't do that. So you see her kind of like panicking, almost looking like she's drowning, flail around for her arrow, and she pulls it out and just almost like stabs down into this thing. And it does actually seem to find purchase as the whole like blob starts to almost like undulate a little bit uncomfortably.
Okay.
And it is top of the round. It is your go. Well, not top of the round, sorry.
Yeah,
It is
well,
just
it's
your go.
technically bottom of the round.
Bottom of the round.
Bottom of the round. I'm gonna strike at its core, so I think we're too committed.
Mhm.
The retreat is gonna be very costly. So sunk cost fallacy. Let's go. I attack its core with
Go for it.
my sword. 1d20 plus 5.
Mhm.
I crit on so many numbers. Let's just hope we hit one of them. We don't. It's a 16.
You see, like, through the sort of like panic as you go in for the strike, Isla reaches out one hand towards you, and she's going to make that dice roll a 19.
19.
Mhm.
So that is a crit.
That is a crit.
Yo. Okay.
Because you guys had a long rest, so she's fucking reset.
Yes. Yes. Okay. 36 bludgeoning damage.
How would you like to do this?
Oh gosh. Okay.
As you slam down on this thing, and for a second, it was looking rough. You have been like pulling out bits of goop with the strikes, but just this, like, the sheer force of bringing this down has completely scattered its main mass.
Yeah. I imagine it just being like they just do this seems to punch to expose it, and then with my sword, I just like I do an overhead swing and smack into the side, but like the momentum carries. And just the entire like upper half of it just kind of explodes out against the pillar to the left, and then the core falls still.
It does that, and you see just like the sheer ripple from the force of this actually cut this thing in half, almost like splitting a small sea for a moment, as all of the liquid force spills out of this small pool and begins to sort of fizzle away and seep into the stonework. But that thick core that you've just sort of like slammed, it falls to the ground and almost begins to thicken and thicken and thicken, and you hear almost like the sounds of air escaping something for a moment as the outer casing solidifies. And a small spherical kind of like rough rock is left sort of rolling into the center of this basing.
I'll pick it up.
Yeah, you do. It feels heavy.
Is this a core?
You are not entirely sure what it is, but it is sort of like rolled into the center where this other like pattern sphere is, and Isla's sort of like being picked up off the ground by Nikki, coughing.
That was a bit too close.
That was terrible.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I'm just keeping track of some things on my end. Cool.
That's okay.
I nodding. I shake my head. Oh, that was not amazing.
We did it though. Ow! Oh, my skin. And you see she looks down and her skin is like red and like very severely burnt. And Nikki goes, hold on. I knew it was a good call to pick this up from June. And she pulls out that small vial and she hands that over to Nikki, who seems to drink it. And you see that some of the redness begin to sort of subside.
You don't have any more of that, do you?
I think I could only weasel 2 out of them, so I've got 1 more, but it's not the best stuff, but it'll, last.
I nod. What's just the call then? I can only handle something like that one more time. Well, I'm not even sure I can handle that again.
Well, maybe we should approach with caution or try to avoid little critters anymore.
I pick up so in one hand I have the core that the thing dropped.
Yeah, so it's heavy, but it almost feels hollow. It looks like almost like a fossilized rock of some kind.
Does it look like a geode?
Yes.
I suspect I know what this is. Can I try and like? d- Hmm. Okay.
The object you have in the other hand is much
Yeah.
more of an obsidian-looking stone. It looks handcrafted and polished, despite the little like finger-style marking grooves. You gather maybe this is some kind of key of some sort.
Yeah. Well, it's the door key, isn't it?
Hmm. Or at the
Um.
very least, one of them.
Yeah. One of
And
three.
as Nikki's sort of helping Isla over towards you, they look at the things that you're holding, and you see Isla almost look past you for a second to that crack in the ground where liquid is still collected. And it's a I say crack. It's like a sizable pool, but it almost seems like a flooded tunnel. Uh, and she nods towards it. Well, that that's not full of slime, and that looks like a pretty sizable beast core.
You think there's something in that down there?
I'm not entirely sure. And Nikki sort of weighs her options for a second. Want me to go stick my head in it?
I'll go with you.
Mm.
I don't want to get caught up in another one of these slime attacks.
Mm. Isla nods. I'll watch your back. And you go to check out this little pool. Nikki just plans to fully stick her head inside it. Are you following suit?
Yeah. Why not?
You both sort of like splash, dunk your head inside this little pool, and it goes deep. It is fully underwater, and you can't necessarily see an end, but you do see very faintly the sort of like glints of light, where clearly you can see like light is reflecting off the surface of something somewhere.
Hmm.
And you
I
see,
kind of turn to her, like, when we pull our heads out.
mm,
There's something down there. I'm gonna try and grab
yeah,
it. Hold
that'll
on. Sorry, wait.
no, nothing. That'll just be quite the swim.
I nod. My worry is
You,
if the whole thing congeals into a slime, I could be in danger.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Here, uh, I'll keep an eye on Isla, make sure she's all right. And she'll hand you over the little small healing elixir.
Thank you. I will drink it because I think we'll retreat after this.
Hmm.
And how does that heal?
It heals for 2d6 plus 2.
Plus con or no?
No.
9.
Nice.
That takes me to like 75%. That's pretty good. I'll dive down and try and get to the bottom.
Yeah, you do. The other two wish you luck as they sort of like sit at the edge of this basin, and Isla sort of like tends to her wounds and seems to be keeping like a nervous eye about the space. And you take a deep breath in and sort of like dive down into this tunnel. It's uncomfortably tight, but you think you can manage. Can you make me just a constitution check to see how well you hold your breath?
21.
21. Yeah, you start moving through this tunnel and you realize pretty quick that it is deeper than you thought it was. The little section of sort of like light that you saw glinting was sort of from where it begins to curve back up. And it takes you like a good 40 seconds where momentarily you feel sort of like a pang of panic as your air begins to quickly run out. But you do see the surface up ahead of you. And you surface gasping into a strange chamber. You see. Oh, sorry, give me a second. Things are accidentally rotating and moving around. You come into a chamber that is ornate but half collapsed. On the far side of the wall, you can see what once was maybe like another one of these long chambers has entirely crumbled in over the colossal skeletal remains of some kind of serpent. The entire back wall is covered in this like thick green light, and the only place that the light actually seeps in is along those plants at the back wall. You surface in the corner where a pool has formed from dripping water, and around these creatures, around this skeleton, you see more of these crystalline, headless figures, skeletons, and remains.
Oh, these aren't headless because of that. They're headless because they're from Myrror.
As you say that, it clicks. You look at the builds. You look at their like strange, almost like slightly taller than normal human proportions, and you remember seeing their weapons, a similar sort of like sheeny tint to them.
That was right.
And you see at the far side another one of these doors, similar to the boss door that you saw before, but it has the depiction of sort of a large serpent on it. It is crumbled, it is deteriorating, but it is like steadfastly packed by fallen rock. And as you're looking around, you see in the serpent's mouth, which is sort of like almost mounted at the edge of this like pool that is slowly filled up around it, you catch like the sheen of another liquid, but this one not blue. Yeah, you walk towards it, and sort of geckos and such sort of skitter across the floor and out of sight. As in the mouth of this skull, there's like a shallow puddle of this like transparent black liquid. And inside of that liquid, at the very bottom of it, seemingly untouched by any sort of water damage, is a weird blue and gold book.
Blue and gold book? Well, you know I'm reaching in for
it. You reach towards this liquid, and as you do, you see the liquid begin to like reach back, like flecks of metal reaching up towards something that is magnetized. And can you make me just a constitution check quickly?
Legendary body, you are a magnet. You not laughing there makes me think I am a magnet. No comment? Okay. Con 24?
24.
That's technically a crit. Oh, actually, yeah, only for attacks. So sorry. That's not a crit. That's just a 24.
You reach your hand towards it, and it feels to you more like a prickle before the discomfort sets in, as this water reaches up to you, and there's a sudden, like, horrible needle sensation under your fingernails, as all of the liquid in this pool seems to suck into your body, and you feel like cold sensation ripple up through your veins and around onto your chest, and there's a sudden almost like boof, boof, pulse as something seems to just pulsate around your heart. And can you immediately gain 20 points of spark for me?
Oh, I didn't die? Okay,
Apparently
cool.
not.
No, I'll take that.
It is alarming, and you look down at your arm, and you can see as this thing is like trailing up into your body, it is leaving deep black veins that fade away from your hand but linger at the base of your arm. And as you follow it, it creeps up your arm, over your shoulder to your chest, where it coalesces in a strange sort of like hollowed sphere before like splaling out across the rest of your body, and you don't know what this is. It feels foreign, and you can feel it squirming, but it is more of a discomfort than a pain. and immediately you just feel like a sucking sensation as spark runs into you.
Okay. Does it feel symbiotic or parasitic?
You have no idea. It feels foreign.
Great. The book.
Yeah, you see, it almost looks leather bound but not tanned. This like beautiful blue and gold book. It has no title, and it seems to be like bound around the edges by almost like a buckle fasten, but there is no buckle there. Instead, at the very center of this book is it almost looks like a bowl. There's sort of a gold bowl in its center.
This book has a. So I can't open it right now. Is that what you're telling me?
You can't find where it opens. It's like a front cover. There's no title or anything on it. It's just got this like gold, almost like bowl-like protrusion from the front cover, and then its pages are sealed with no sort of like buckle or latch or anything.
How much does it look like an offering bowl?
It looks like a bowl. If you determine it to look like an offering bowl, it's plain.
I'm gonna try something just out because that's what I initially thought. I'm gonna bite my thumb until it bleeds. And I'm just gonna let some blood drop into the bowl. See if that does anything.
Yeah, make me an Arcana check.
Okay. Five.
You let it drop in, and you nothing immediately happens, but you hear almost like a sort of sound start reverberating around the bowl. But you think you might need a little bit more than a drop.
That's okay. I'm certainly curious, and honestly, this isn't so bad. I'm looking around. Well, the doorway to this room, does it look like the inside, or because I assume that's almost like a boss gate, but I'm clearly in the boss room, right? Or is that looking like a doorway that goes out?
It looks like you're on the inside of it.
Yeah. And these bones, I'm guessing, are equally as heavy.
Yeah. If you go and try to move them, again, impossible to sort of move.
Okay. I will pick up the book. I'm gonna try and I guess I'll just bleed into the book some more. Why not?
Yeah. Take a D4 of slashing damage as you decide to fully commit to this. And you almost like cut yourself a little bit on your blade, and spend a second sort of like filling up a sizable amount into this book. Once the entire bottom of that like gold basin is covered, that reverberating stops.
Sorry, I've just forgotten. I actually have damage reduction. Yes. Sorry. Continue.
That's okay. And you like bloop 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 see it suddenly get like sucked into this gold basin, and this gold basin almost unravel and twist into a latch on its front page, and you feel you may be able to open this.
I'll do so.
You open it, and what immediately strikes you is a blank book. And as you look at that front cover, ink slowly begins to pool to the front of it. And you read, "Child of two mothers, you've been accepted. I am your..." And there's a crumbling sound from the left of you, as you hear sort of murmuring from the other side of the door. And a shrill sort of voice that you recognize going, I'm pretty sure if I press it right here, yes, I think, and there's a
snap the book closed.
You snap the book closed as you hear Laurel's voice for a moment, followed by a bit of a yelp as this entire door crumbles in. Dust goes everywhere.
I'm gonna rest my
as
hand on the serpent's head, and but whilst tactfully putting the book into my bag.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You begin to start doing this. Give me just a second to rub some stuff out for you. As you see,
I'm gonna try and play it off that I killed it. it's my gambit.
You see Laurel sort of cool in clearly the rockfall of seemingly maybe he pushed this wall down. You have no idea, but you just see sort of like the yellow squirming beneath rock. As stepping in through the door, you see the large sort of like dark figure of that younger boy you'd seen before with the yellow eyes and the shock of dark hair, and the woman with pink eyes. Who doesn't seem concerned by the fact that her travel companion has been buried by a stone, and instead looks around the room and her eyes fall on you, and she smiles. Well, you were right, Laurel. Seems they were an interesting person. I don't think I ever got your name.
Via, I say.
What have you got there, Via?
I kind of look around. Just examining this place.
Make me a charisma saving throw.
She's gonna make me tell the truth. Okay. 8.
You see she smiles and she glances over towards her brother, who almost like nods and takes up a position by the edge of this door as she walks in towards you, and you find yourself, as you look at her, suddenly your focus is almost like caught in her eyes, and you see almost like a strange
She's charming
rippling.
me.
And she, before you know it, she is up close to your ear, and she says, "Really? Seems like you found a lot of interesting things, and your pack's so full."
Can I push her back? Can I resist in any way?
You've just tried to.
Oh, for
And you
fuck's
failed by a factor of
sake.
10.
Can I? Oh, I'm gonna. What do you mean?
And she reaches in next to your hand, and you're so aware of the sensation of her fingers brushing down against your arm as she grabs the book. "I'll be taking this technique from you now. I'm sure you can get it back for a price later. Do be careful around here, Veer." And she's just going to grab your book and begin to
I can't do anything.
walk away. You can make me another charisma save as she sort of reaches her brother at the door. As you feel 15, you're just like, as much as something in the back of your mind almost like primal prickles the hair, you can't pull away from it, as though you get a sense of like whatever this presence is weaker when she turns away from you. Its effects linger deeply, and you hear her go, "Leave him, Bastion. I'm sure he'll weasel his way out. Besides, we've got everything we needed from him." And her brother sort of look back a little guiltily at both Laurel and you, But as his sister starts to move away, you very much get the sense of like he pulls himself away from it and chooses to follow her. And make me another charisma save as she gets out of line of sight.
Nine.
You find yourself almost like closing your eyes and lingering on the memory of that, like, of her eyes, of the way that there's like mesmerizing ripples sort of pulsed out for a second. And it's maybe, you're not sure how long it is, but you feel a sharp slap sometime later, and you hear Isla's sort of voice going, "Hey, snap out of it! What's going on? What's wrong with you?" As she's sort of shaking your shoulders, and you are immediately aware that you were charmed, but you also have the sudden visceral awareness that everybody here was meant to have gained their ability at least within the last week. And that was far too strong.
Mm-hmm.
And Isla's there sort of like shaking you. They clearly seem to have like come to find you, and have found you in some kind of like strange state. You see Laurel is sort of like shaking himself off as like he's being dragged out of the stonework by Nikki.
I should have done my other plan.
What's going on? Are you all right? God, what happened to your arm? What is that stuff?
I kind of, I look a little angry, I think. That woman, she charmed me. I wasn't able to move. I found something in here, a technique, I think. And she stole it from me and left me here.
Oh dear.
But she's not meant to be here. I don't know how to explain it, but the power of that entrancement was much too powerful to have been something freshly awoken.
You think that she's cheating, maybe? And you see, as Nikki sort of like pulls Laurel out, and he's sort of like desperately trying to get his hat back from under the rubble, she goes, "That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I'm sure they must have donated a perfectly decent gate to us for a reason. I bet they're trying to get a leg up on everyone else."
But why? Why not just do it individually? Why this whole charade about training in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe they're looking for easy fragments. I don't know enough about their family.
But I thought...
Shit, we should have come looking for you sooner. I'm sorry.
It's okay. How long's it been?
I'm not sure. Maybe... Well, we got a bit concerned after 30 minutes, and we went to try and look for you, but... Oh shit, actually, she might be able to help. We've met someone up in... Well, around the corner from here, actually. She's some kind of monk. I'm not sure. But she seemed nice enough, and she had some incense that was pretty, well, cleared the mind, I think. She might be able to help with any lingering effects. I'm not sure.
I think I've broken out of it now, but... There goes our alliance.
On the bright side, at least we know where she's gonna be. There's no getting away from this training camp without using one of my mother's skyships, and she sure as hell isn't let anyone gonna steal one of those.
I don't know. There might be a way I can get it back, but to what end? She could just take it from me again.
Damn it. Do you know what kind of technique it was?
Never seen anything like it before. Oh, I'm so vexed because I had two options. One, when the door started rumbling, my plan was try and play it off cool, or which is what I went with, the stupid option. Or my other option was just immediately run and jump for the hole and try and leave. I should have done that. Why was I just thought, because I wanted to meet with her anyway. I thought I could try and use this to my advantage. I didn't expect her to just. I kind of did expect it though. That's the annoying thing. I knew she was an influencer. Fuck.
I'm sorry. Oh, things just aligned. I'm sorry. It'll be fine though. Don't worry about it. You got this. I believe. Shit. Well, what do you want to do now? And brushing himself off, Laurel sort of pulls himself out and goes, "Oh, gods, I can't believe she just left me. Are all of you all right? I didn't hear any fighting, although I was a little bit buried at the time."
Wait, fucking the
Yeah, the fucking part.
Oh. You have some explaining to do, let me say.
I mean, ask away, my friend. Gods, you look horrible. What's that black stuff on your arm?
What was she doing here?
Well, we were just, going about the dungeon. I was trying to make a little bit of small talk with her. She's a very interesting young lady, she's from House Satham. Maze is her name, and her brother Bastian. I think they're looking to. Well, they were quite ambitious, really. I was quite, flattered that they brought me along on their little group. They're looking for keys, I think is what they said. Something about fighting the boss. Something about an influx of fragments. I'm not sure. I think they've been cut off.
What do you mean?
Well, they're I'm not sure if you're aware of local politics and all that. He says, almost like backing up from you a little bit. Their father died a little while ago, and them not being old enough, Bastion at least, to succeed him at present legally, their uncle has sort of taken over, and I think he might be, cutting their allowance and all that, which I imagine, for someone in their position, it will be quite annoying. The families tend to stock fragments so that their young can sort of, thrive. I did pass on your message, good man, though. She did seem interested in talking to you. I wasn't exactly. How did you get in here, exactly?
I shake my head. I'm vexed. Okay, I still look grumpy, but I'm going to just ignore his question. And then I say, she's clearly had her ability for longer than the rest of us. Right?
I mean, she is very persuasive, but that's just the nature of her talent, She's a very talented young lady. I think she's quite.
I raise my eyebrow. Really?
What? Yes. Oh, she seems very lovely, well-spoken, just generally pleasant to be around. Don't you agree?
No. She used her ability to stop me from moving. And then she robbed me.
Well, and you see he sort of frowns for a little bit, as if like internally struggling with something. I mean, we all have our flaws, don't we?
I shake my head. Yes, I suppose we do.
Well, I should probably go and try and catch up with her. I'm sure she wouldn't have left on purpose. You must have intimidated her somewhat.
You best avoid them, I'd say. I doubt they're going to be interested in. Well, I think it's in your best interest to stay away.
Give me just a second. Not quite. As again, you see him as you're. It's almost as you're like speaking negatively about her. This like look of conflict comes over his face, and it gets quickly shaken off and replaced with sort of a look of denial as he brushes himself off again and well, I suppose I'll wish you luck on your journey back. Goodbye. And he turns and is gonna go see if he can catch up to his group. I think.
I'm gonna catch his arm and say, "Didn't you hear what I said?"
Of course I did. Get unhand
Did
me.
she charmed you?
What? No, I mean, and as you almost like make him aware of it, and properly sort of like keep him in a position where he's having to confront this, you see a pink sheen almost like fade off from his eyes, and he shakes his head. Oh gods! I was used!
It appears so.
My apologies, friend. And he seems to like be almost like recounting his day. And a frown comes over his face. And it's as you're sort of like you step towards him, Isla kind of walks up next to you, and you see her almost like prop herself up against the wall a little bit, and shake her head. Is it getting a bit hot in here, or is that just me? I feel like it's getting a little more humid.
Over to her and check her temperature. Is she okay?
She's burning up. And as you sort of look down to where she was, those sort of like acid burns before, you know she was given something that made the redness sort of fade away, but you see all over her body this like deep rash beginning to sort of form.
Well, I kind of, I guess pick her up.
Yeah, as you do, she actually starts to get like almost dizzier and dizzier, and you look down to her side where it's not very big, but it's a small puncture wound that seems to be from one of the pseudopod strikes. And you make me an intelligence check quickly.
I think she's probably poisoned. Well, that's pretty clear. 16.
16. At first you think poisoned, but then you think like you look at your own side, which is sort of like stopped bleeding since, and you feel fine. You don't remember, like, other than like the burning of the sort of acid, everything feels okay. And you're looking at this wound, and as you pull it back, you see sort of the redness around it, a rash that is alarmingly familiar to you, as her eyes sort of like roll back sluggishly, and
Don't
she
tell
almost
me she's got the freaking thing my mum
faints
had.
for a second. As you see what do you think might be the early stages of spark bleed beginning to surface around this injury.
God damn it. She really was sheltered, huh?
Mhm.
I frown. Really? Now? Shit. Okay then, bud. Let's get out of here. I don't. He's not actually a bud. What would I call him? Okay then, Laurel. I think it's time we leave.
All right. Oh God, I apologize. And Nikki sort of like puts her arm around him and tries to sort of reassure him a little bit, but is half looking over to you and half looking over to Isla, a bit confused about what's happening, but seeing your expression sort of starts to make a move for it.
Hmm.
And you head back down. You pass down through a room that has like these 3 pillars around it, and a huge basin in the middle where you can see sort of these like what looks like snakes, but are clearly made. They're almost made to look like they're camouflaged with stone, and they're fucking huge, and they are just decimated on the ground. You see one of them is like crushed in the center. Clearly the work of people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And notably, you see sphere-shaped holes missing from them.
Mm-hmm.
And you take Isla and you make your way back down, retracing your paths back towards this dungeon exit.
Okay.
And you are you heading on through back to camp?
Yeah, for now I think.
You pull your way back through this portal, and the camp is both more lively but also more sparse. There are fewer people here, but the people who are here are out doing things. You know, you see a lot of people almost talking to each other around tables, and a lot of them are actually using the sandy sort of sparring pits, and are almost they're sparring with each other. And you come out sort of holding Isla, and where are you going? As Nikki says, "Have you got everything here? I'm gonna go see if I can calm down Laurel, but would you like me to go talk to my mother, maybe?"
What would you say?
I'm not sure if they're... hell, I'm not sure. There's not really anything we can do about it, but maybe I could at least get their cabin number.
That'd be a good idea.
All right.
Don't
I'll catch up with
make
you.
too much noise though. We don't want them to know that we're looking into them.
I won't. All right. Let's go.
Did they know? She knows what happened, right?
What did you were...
Hmm. Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah. She's
saying,
been there while you were explaining it. Yeah.
My-
She gets the gist of what's gone down.
I'm gonna take her to the quartermaster. See if I can get something. I'll exchange the gold up as well, and I'll cut you a share.
That'd
If
be good.
anybody asks, something happened to me, but when I woke up, I forgot.
All right.
Then meet me in the food tent.
All right. I'll get us a table. She nods and she'll take Laurel and sort of start to move off.
Okay.
And you are left holding Isla, who's sort of like, she's not... She's unconscious, but she's not like... She's still sort of like mumbling and occasionally sort of open her eyes. She's almost in like a feverish haze.
You're okay, she says as I'm like lifting her up. We're outside now.
And she's just sort of like murmuring. You get the gist that it's almost like trying to be murmurs of reassurance. But it's just incoherent.
Yeah, I'll take it to the quartermasters.
Yeah, you push in and you see June is sort of like lazily leant back against the counter. And he looks over with sort of a look of like, ugh, who's bothering me now? But sort of straightens up when he sees you carrying Isla. What's going on?
I think Sparkblade.
Shit, this early. Come on. Come on through. And he'll sort of open up the side of his sort of like main counter and lead you through into that back room, where a number of beds have sort of been like lined up around cabinets that contain small sort of like pockets of herbs and this, that, and the other. There's always one or two that get it. Those who haven't lived too close to the gates, or gotten a bad injury, a scraped knee or some such near them at the start of these kind of things. It's never usually that bad. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, put it down there.
I do so.
You do, and he goes through. You see, he gathers a few things. Familiarly, you see the sort of like just a small bundle of the glass flowers, which he sort of crushes and begins to like turn into a small poultice, and brings it over to the side of the bed. And he starts to sort of check her over. At first, he seems like relatively fine about it. It seems very par for the course as he's almost like checks her arms, checks the rash. But as he moves down to the wound on her side, you see him grow a little more concerned. How long ago did this happen?
Well, not too long. We were fighting like a large slime. She got struck by it. I managed to defeat it. But then some things happened, and some time went past, and she said out of the blue she felt a little funny, and then I checked her temperature and she was burning up. And well, my mother has a spark bleed, so
I'm sorry to hear it.
but it should be fine. She's young enough, right?
It's you don't need to be too alarmed. It's not lethal, but it is progressing a little faster than I'd like. It's a little unusual. Damn it. My main concern is usually these kind of things happen a little further into the tests. People have usually brought in more for me to use. This is a little more severe.
Into my bag, I pull out a bundle of the glass flowers. You need this, right?
Glass flowers, yes, they help certainly as a suppressant in small amounts, but for more severe cases, there's sort of your mother has spark bleed, I'm sure you know, but there's almost a progression. There's sort of a cutoff point where the illness starts to self-propagate. Most people of your age, especially when they get it, it sort of varies in severity, but it's dealt with before that cutoff point. But once it surpasses that, it becomes a lot harder to deal with. This is closer to that drop-off point than I would like. I can slow it down, but I need a catalyst plant. What's the actual dungeon like in there? That's a pretty decent abundance, more than we usually get. I assume the floor is good.
Tropical stone temple, patches of grass. Then we've found some mushrooms, and there are some roots. I like spread out all of the stuff that we gathered.
He seems to like begin working on the rashes, like spreading the poultice across it and wrapping up like some of the worst bits of it off of the bed. All right. How's the humidity? Is it warm?
Yes.
Good. In which case, we should have the capacity to fix this. And he rummages around sort of in the bottom and hands you a small scroll. This isn't on the usual test list. Most of the time when we get a gate, this is a relatively sought-after plant, but this is sort of an odd case for a gate. I imagine this was probably overlooked with the stuff they were pulling out of it. It's called Bleeding Queen. It's a catalyst plant. If you can grab me 1 or 2 of those, I can whip something up that will have her back on her feet in a few hours. As it currently stands, the things I have at my disposal are good enough, but not a finite fix. I don't like leaving things half done.
Where will I find it?
Look for anywhere where the sort of foliage is more abundant than usual. They're a bright red, sort of spiky flower. You won't miss it, but they tend to enhance the plants that are grown around them. Any large amount of brush or tangle of weeds or...
Can I think back to that room of plants? Was that one in there?
Make me a history check.
History. 13.
13. Yeah. You think back. You think there were some things there that had a red tinge to it, but as you're actually looking at the scroll, there is a picture of the Bleeding Queen on it. Definitely, you would have seen this if it was there. It's like got very curly. It almost looks like a spider lily, but it's a lot more sort of spiky, and it curls in on itself like a crown.
Damn. I haven't seen anything like this.
They should. They're not uncommon. You should be able to find one if you look hard enough. And worst comes to worst, I'm sure someone will drag one out of there. She'll be all right. If we absolutely need to evacuate her back to Day of Grace, we'll have the things to fix her right up there. But the sooner we can get something to work with her, the better.
See what I can do. Any chance you can exchange some of this up?
Of course. And he'll what have you got? He'll exchange up your plants for any amount of gold.
Yeah. So we had the glass flower, like 20 of them.
Mhm.
The root of all.
So I think the conversions are in your character notes.
Yeah. Do you want me to just do it?
Yeah, if you could. Sorry, my quick maths is not great.
No problem. I'll tell you what I get and how much it comes to.
Wonderful.
So here we go. So we had glass flowers, 20 of them, so 200 gold. Then we gained a root of all skills. That's plus 26. Suitor spores. Plus 3, so that's suitor spores are 14, so that would be 42. And then yes, that would be all. So that would come to a total of 268 gold. So that puts me at a total of 270.
And he'll exchange any amount of that for fragments.
Okay, hold on then. Then what I'm going to do is ask him what the slime geode does.
Oh, that's a beast core. Yeah, you should be able to crack them open. And they'll have a number of fragments inside, depending on the quality of the creature.
I'll crack it.
Yeah. Yeah, he hands you basically like almost like a small hammer. And it's a very satisfying like clink. It almost like cleanly cracks in the middle. And roll me another 2d6, please.
9.
There are 9 standard quality spark shards in here.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
9 needs
And June sort of nods. Not a bad one. I'll buy any of those from you that you want to let go of.
Okay. Okay. Let's see now. I'm probably not going to sell these just yet, I say. I'm going to try and use them.
You see as he's looking at you, his eyes catch your arm for a second, and surprisingly quickly, he grabs it and turns it over. Good God, where the hell did you get this? And he grabs your sleeve and he pulls it and begins like looking it up and up and up. And his face goes a little grim.
What's up, Doc? I say.
Nothing good. That should not. God damn it. He is actually gonna. You see him scoop the geode off of the table away from you and sort of grab your arm and move you back into that sort of back room and close the door.
Mm-hmm.
That is a disease that should not be in a dungeon of this rank. You need to be incredibly careful. How long have you had that?
I think I got it just after the fight. There was a pool and there was something in it. I tried to pick it up and the pool jumped into my arm.
He pinches sort of like the bridge of his nose and looks it over. Would you mind, shirt?
I take it off.
You take it off and you actually look down and see for the first time something that looks a little bit, I'll put it in more, a little bit like this growing sort of like on your chest and into your body. Just this black ring of veins. And it, it's actually as you're stood there and he is studying it, you again feel this like sudden horrible like pulsing of something moving through you almost involuntarily against your will. Can you gain another 10 internal spark?
Okay.
As it gets just sucked into you involuntarily. And June just begins to look you over, very concerned. He pulls out a book and begins sort of like flipping through it. This is an endurophage. It's a spark parasite. I'm so sorry.
Why? What's happening?
It's a disease, one that is far beyond my capabilities to cure. In fact, probably anyone's in Dea Grace's. I'm not sure I can give you these fragments on good faith. They tend to only affect people with reflections. For whatever reason, it seems to draw on their spark, maybe cause some kind of blockage. People with it tend to overcharge themselves to death.
How?
When you have one, your body will intake an excess amount of energy, and if left undealt with, it will probably kill you.
But if you have a reflection, can't you channel that elsewhere?
No. How are you feeling at present?
I have charge in me. Feel it building up, but I've always had a good tolerance.
He seems to look a little grim for a moment. Oh, that might be a small blessing for you. You won't be able to affect that energy that's building up in you. It's not the same. It doesn't translate. It's spark, but it's a parasitic version of it.
Right. Should I be storing this not in my main spark then?
Yes. Please store this in other spark.
How much have you given me? 30?
Yeah, 30 total right now. This does contribute to your total spark.
Oh, yeah. I'm aware.
You
Okay, so...
cannot put it into your reflection
Right.
skill tree.
So I gained the disease and lost the loot. Excellent. That's bad, right? Maybe not, though. Maybe not.
It's not completely unheard of to remove this affliction. I don't want to fill you with that much dread. They're usually very slow acting, and you are so recently awakened that I doubt it'll be pulling in that much.
I raised an eyebrow. I don't know about that. I'd say I pull out like 3 lesser shards. About this much so far. I've only had it for an hour or so.
That's not good. I'm gonna go talk to Captain Towler. There are people who can cure this type of thing at Temple. There are monks at the Church of Genesis who have been working on removing this affliction from people, but it's a technique that is far beyond me, and the High Temple tends to be incredibly secretive over their methods. If things progress this quickly, I'll see what I can do about getting an emergency evacuation for you. In the meantime, try not to take in any more spark than you absolutely can. And if things start to get worse or painful, come to me immediately. I'll see what I can do about removing any excess. But I won't be able to fix this. I'm sorry.
Very well. I seem like a little shell-shocked, I suspect.
Yeah.
See.
Your day is very quickly gone from bad to worse.
It's not been great, has it? Well... you sent me that image.
Mhm.
Gonna pull it up for the OBS. I got some questions.
Mhm.
On the image, I can't help but notice that there are some nodes that say.
There are some strange things there that you don't understand. That's so crazy. Maybe a book of some kind could help explain it.
Oh.
But you feel in that sort of central node that is labeled unblocked, there is a energy pooling. It does feel like you can reach towards it, but there's nowhere for you to move it. And it is only growing, and you see very quickly how this leads to death by overcharging.
So. Okay. So this is like a skill tree, but I can't put any points into anything. Is that what you're telling me?
This is effectively in lore. You don't see the blocked nodes. You just feel the central one.
Right. That's not good. Frame. This meta question. Is this a legendary star / legendary body?
No.
What the? Okay. Is this just third path? I feel like it is, but I need to go get the book. Oh man. Right. I really fucking hope that book is still locked. I'm so pissed off I didn't jump in that hole. Everything is... Okay. Fuck. I wish I could go back in time and do that. Okay, I know what I gotta do. I'm gonna grab my shards, because...
He seems reluctant, but he will give them to you.
Don't worry. I'm not planning on overcharging myself to death.
Good. Well, you may not have much of a choice in that matter. Do be responsible, please.
I like a look that's like... Thanks. And then, do you have any medical supplies? Anything I could use for healing if I went back into the dungeon?
Yes. Here. He pulls out two sort of small vials of that sort of healing elixir.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pre-made for purchase. If you're I usually don't give this out to many people, but your particular circumstance, I feel it may be required. If you have anything particular you're looking for, I make elixirs on my downtime. I trained in temple for a short while. Nothing advanced, but I can make things. Healing elixirs, things to make you a little more hardy. That kind of stuff. It won't be cheap, but I'm happy to trade.
What kind of things have you got? Looking for prices.
I've got. I can make things. 50 gold, and I can make you something that will heal you over time. There's the capacity to sort of regrow flesh and reknit wounds. I can make something that, if you're looking to learn, I can make something that. Or not looking to learn. If you're looking to fight and not looking to learn, I can make something that will make you a bit stronger on the short term, but it tends to have a bit of a fuzzy effect on the mind. I can, he says, sort of like seeming a little upset, by using some very expensive ingredients, make something that reduces your internal spark by a small amount, but it is addictive to a degree.
Well, that sounds bad, right? Oh,
it's not great. He kind of looks sheepishly to the side. It's not strictly speaking a poison, but it does have a bit of a bad rep.
I see. Well, I don't think I'll need any of that for now, but I'll get back to you if it gets dire. I'll be back later in the day.
I'll keep an eye on your friend. I'll let you know how things are going. She'll be alright.
I'll look for some root soon.
He nods.
If I'm doomed, then I'll try and at least make sure that she isn't.
He winces a little.
I give them a little smile. Don't worry. I'm used to being around the doomed. I can keep my spirits in check. As long as there's still a chance for her.
She'll be alright. I'm not sure if you have the means, but if you can get to temple at any point, they have a small entry.
I have what you just gave me.
He gives a nod and grimly sort of understands the situation. I hate this job sometimes.
There's still a plan I have. Might just work. I suppose it's worth trying to do something than doing nothing. See you around. And I'll head out. Oh, and keep that sword reserved for me still.
Damn it, take this with you before you go. And he'll toss you one of the elixirs.
Oh, nice. What was it?
Call it my guilty conscience. It was 2d6 plus 2.
Ah, yes. Healing elixir. 2d6 plus 2. Thank you. I thank him. And then I will head straight to the tavern.
Yeah, make me a perception check as you go.
Mm-hmm. Uh, 6.
6. Yeah, you see like an influx of people sort of coming back, and very quickly the crowds around it. It's sort of like gone a little later in the day, and it seems like a lot of the groups are sort of beginning to return. You don't see her at all in like amidst the crowd. What you do see, sat sort of like on their own, sort of over by the cliff edge on a little rock, is a woman in sort of she's got sort of like quite similar to you, kind of like baggy white and kind of like beige clothing, and she is completely bald. But she seems to be sat almost meditating next to a spark shard.
This is the monk.
And that's all that catches your eye.
Hmm. God damn it! If I wasn't in a rush, I would very much like to talk to you. Nah, fuck it. I'll go talk to them first. I'll go say hello.
Sure. You approach this person. They're sort of sat. They've clearly. It almost looks like they've made like a little zen patch around them where they've like moved the gravel. They've really like set themselves up cross-legged on this rock. And you see, make me an Arcana check as you get close to them. You can see up the side of like their head. They've got some like almost floral-looking tattoos
19.
That are kind of like a brown. They're more of like a henna sort of pattern. And on a 19, you see as they're sat there meditating, you watch the light in the spark shard ebbing slowly and then refilling and then ebbing and refilling.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Were you the one who helped my friends earlier?
The red-haired one and the nice one with the purple hair.
I know.
Yes, I ran into them earlier. They were looking for you, I think. I hope everything is okay.
Well, we'll see about that. I reach out a hand to shake.
She reaches out a hand and shakes it. You seem troubled. Would you like to sit for a bit? And you see she gestures. She's got what looks like a tiny little, almost like teapot.
I'll join her. It's
That
nice
is-
to
that
have
is
another
cute.
friendly face.
People here seem to be a bit competitive. I'm quite used to that, though.
I nod. Well, perhaps I wasn't too, I don't really know what happened. I say something strange when I was exploring some of the rooms.
There are many strange rooms in a place like this. I've come to study them, I think. And she pours out a very, like, almost like shallow teacup and hands it to you.
Thank you.
And you sip like a very, like, earthy herbal tea.
I don't know each other. My name is Vaya.
I'm Myth. I'm the apprentice of the Arch-Expositor, Expositor Cravenwind.
Apprentice of the Arch? Oh, was that Expositor?
Mhm.
That sounds interesting. Is it?
He's quite an interesting fellow. He runs the High Temple over in Temple. I'm sure you have Well,
What?
perhaps you haven't heard of the Church of Genesis. It seems our faith is not very common.
Um, I'd be interested to know it, I say. And you're from Temple.
I am, yes.
That's quite the coincidence. I've been told I might need to visit soon.
Any reason why?
Apparently, I say, I'm doomed, and I show them my arm symbol.
They laugh a little bit. Well, we house many doomed people over in Temple. Our Church of Genesis is a place of healing. Let me see. And she looks at your arm, and she seems to. It's not necessarily like an offensive look, but you catch kind of like a glimpse of like,
Pulling back.
not even pulling back, just almost like recognition, but then like slight distaste. But she smiles and nods slightly. I have seen this affliction treated somewhat. There is a sect where I am from, the sect of Unbound Secrets. They dabble in. Uh, I do not find it very appealing, but they try to manipulate nature, and they find these things quite fascinating.
I nod. Well,
Some of them even bear one themselves out of choice. Stunted ones, mind, but it seems to work for them. I personally think it is an affront to our god. The things that she make should not be tampered with.
I'd be interested to hear about your god, but I'll let you know now I didn't pick this up by choice.
Hmm.
And I kind of smile and say, the girl you were with earlier, the nice one.
Mm.
Her name is Isla, and she's ill. She's, I think, had a sheltered life up to this point, and, well, Sparkbleed has hit her heart.
That is an affliction that we deal with quite commonly. A lot of people travel there for healing. Some of our lower temples there are quite advanced in not curing it specifically, but definitely staving off its effects. There are those who can cure it, though. My mentor, the Arch Expositor, he is friends with the Arch Magi, a master alchemist. He rarely comes down to talk to mortals like us, but if anyone could, well, he can fix just about anything. And he teaches a lot of our
Right.
he teaches a lot of our other healers. That is why we are such a center point for it, I suppose.
I make a mental note of that. That sounds extremely important to curing my mum. But I would also kind of nod and say, well, the problem is well, there's a flower. I kind of show her the scroll. I want to go and find it to make sure it doesn't get too bad, so it's curable.
You are a member down then, yes?
Well, exactly. I can't go into the dungeon without 3 people.
She nods. I would not mind joining more open-minded company. I went in today, and my group promptly left when I decided I wanted to pray at one of the statues. They did not seem to appreciate it. She seems to like take a distasteful sip of her tea. But that is okay. I understand the faith is not for everyone. It is fascinating, though, that depictions of her show up so regularly in these temples.
They do.
They do. You must have been nearby, but maybe you did not see the temple proper. There is a large mural there.
Must have missed it.
I was trying to decipher the script all day, but it seems I'm a little unpracticed in my skills. She kind of looks down at her hands.
I saw something that might interest you.
Oh.
A script that moved on the walls.
How strange. Perhaps when we go to search for this plant, we can go and look at the temple proper together, see if perhaps you see these strange things again.
I nod. I can certainly help. But, excuse me, I just wish to make the proposition. I have another matter to attend to. I'm on a bit of a tight time budget. But if you'll be willing, might we meet in an hour or two? Head back in?
Of course, I will be here. I am practicing moving the energy around.
You seem remarkably good. I wasn't aware you could do that.
Well, most people cannot, but it is a small perk of being the apprentice of an arch expositor. We are quite masterful over our control of energy in temple.
That sounds like something quite valuable.
She smiles and seems quite proud of the praise, but it keeps like a sort of like modest smile. I would be happy to teach you if you have the time to sit down for it, but it is not a quick matter.
Well, given my new condition, it might be something I'd be very much interested in.
Well, I will still be drinking tea here in an hour.
Good.
I hope to see you then.
I'll see you soon. And as I consider us friends now, I give her like a little smile. Let me give you a warning. There is someone among us. They go by the name Maze. They have pink eyes and are trailed by their brother Bastion.
I have seen the one you speak of. It is not only their brother they are trailed by. I believe there are more people with their eyes on her than just him.
Be wary. She is a dark horse. She is not new to her abilities. And she can bewitch and enchant.
I will keep this in mind. Thank you. And she gives you a nod.
Okay. And I will make my way into the hall.
Yeah, you do. You see that Nikki has like properly sequestered that side table again and is very much sort of cleared people off of it. Laurel is sat there looking very sort of guilty. He's got a little bag with him. And as he sees you, he sort of stands up and takes his hat off a little bit. Veer, I wanted to apologize for earlier. I was a little bit out of sorts and all that. It isn't much, but I hope it goes a short way to maybe to helping. And he will hand you basically the herbs he's collected throughout the day.
Oh.
He gives you a bag of 18 glass flowers.
Sheesh, my boy. And I'll accept that and say, this
I'll be more careful. I don't quite know what I was thinking.
It wasn't you that was thinking. I apologize that you had to go through this.
Don't. I mean, it's quite all right. I find myself in all sorts of situations all the time. This isn't the worst one. Water off of a toad's back and all that.
Give him a look that's like, kind of like, oh man, that's not the worst thing that's happened to you. I'm so sorry. And then I'm like, if you're still looking to head back into the dungeon and you need a group that won't stab you in the back, well, you can always join me.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. That's quite the kind offer. I think I'm going to stay clear of it for, well, at least tonight, maybe tomorrow. But perhaps after then. I get a good meal in me.
I nod. Oh, safe travels.
You as well. And he sort of excuses himself and seems to go to get something to eat.
Fair enough.
And Nikki sort of like leans into you a little bit. How is she?
It's not amazing. She's, well, rapidly reaching the point of no return, I'm afraid.
Ah, shit. Can we do anything about that?
Actually, yes. I pull out the scroll and hand it to her.
Ah. Good old Junie's got a fucking plant for everything. Where do we get one of those?
In the dungeon.
Go figure.
I've
Alright.
talked to that monk friend you found. They go by Myth, and they're willing to join us into the dungeon.
Huh.
I reckon if we head there soon, find this plant, should be surrounded by other plants. We can grab it quickly, and, well, they said they'd be able to cure Ela in a few hours.
She nods and looks you up and down a little bit. Are you sure you're gonna be up to that so soon? You look like you could do with a rest.
Me?
I know we want to go fast, but
I nod. I'm much better than I look. This odd complexion of mine is something I've inherited recently. It's apparently a disease from the
Ooh.
dungeon, but that's a separate matter, and one that can wait a little bit. In fact, I have a plan to deal with it. I just need the attention of... and I'm looking for Rat. He's in here, right?
You're looking around. He is in here. You see, he's sort of like
That
he
man
seems
there.
to be dealing like a card game right now for just like a group of people
I'm gonna go.
that are kind of like
Oh, I
come
see.
in.
But I'll quickly ask. Did you find their lodge number?
Oh yeah, I did. I was gonna talk to my mother, but she's still talking to that freaky masked guy. I'll be honest, he kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, so I stayed away. But I think she's in cabin 02.
Right.
We can head there after.
Okay. Excellent. I have a plan. I have a few plans. I am going to nod and say, actually, we should head there now.
All right. Yeah, sure. Give me a second. And she like repacks some things into her, into like her side pack, slings it over her shoulder, and as she's like following you, she's like rewrapping her fucking fists.
I turn to her and say, there's no way we can win in a face-to-face confrontation.
Well, what kind of confrontation is this going to be then?
The vexing kind, but hopefully for them. We just need to find out whether or not they're in, whether or not they've had a chance to stash their supplies. I need to know where the goods are before we can take it off them.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna spy on them?
We're going to knock on the door and see if they're in.
Oh.
And you can, well, hopefully hang back, make sure nothing bad happens to me. I'd rather
She
they
sort of
didn't
like
know
rubs
that
her
you were
hands.
involved, but I plan to play it as if I've woken up and I vaguely recall them and just asking about what happened.
Ah, smart. Using the charm against them.
That was my
All right.
hope. It's a dangerous play, though. If they decide at that point to bewitch me again, there's nothing I can do.
Well, I'll watch your back. If you start getting all weird, I'll come and grab you. I'll also keep an eye out for the big fellow.
Yeah, well, this is a risky play, but primarily I just want to see if they're in. Then, after that, we'll come back here and talk to that man
Alright.
over there. And point to Rat.
Yeah.
And then I say kind of, I have to say, I appreciate you helping me. I know we've only really just met.
Ah, it's alright. That's half of what this time's for, right? Making friends, making enemies. She sort of punches her fist a little bit. I think I've landed on the pretty good side of things, all things considered.
Yes.
You're not beguiling me, are you?
No. You know my
Secret
ability,
influencer?
right?
I think I remember you mentioning it. You haven't explicitly told me, but I've picked up a few things from listening to you talk to Isla. I assume you two go back.
Oh, an extra day.
Oh. Something about you can make more of stuff?
I nod.
Hmm.
I will, yeah. Sorry, I've just had an
Well,
idea. That would be fucking crazy, actually. Okay, yeah, fuck it. Let's go outside.
Mhm.
And I'm looking for them.
Yeah. I assume you go over to where the sort of like camps are.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You get over there and you begin sort of looking around. Most people are at the mess tent right now, but you can see a couple of sort of like lights on in some of these cabins.
Yeah.
Um, most of them are over in the cabins that are sort of like clearly don't have a lock on the door. You know, the nicer ones are actually kind of alarmingly closer to yours and Isla's cabins. You can see sort of the light on in 003,
But not in 002.
but not in 02.
I'll knock on the door of 02.
Uh, Duk, duk, duk. You knock on the door and you don't get a response.
Is there a window or anything?
You know, all of these cabins have basically a door, a bed, a dresser, and a window.
I'm going to walk around and look through the window into 03. Trying to be stealthy.
Into 03 or into 02?
Into 03.
In 03, you peek in and you see the sort of like large figure of the man with sort of like dark spiked hair and yellow eyes. He seems to be.
This is Bastion.
This is Bastion. You can see he's tending to one of two hand axes. He's got like a small whetstone. He seems to be sort of like with almost like a look of he kind of seems the sort of person that always has a look of perpetual like guilt and drear on his face as he's just quietly sharpening his blade.
I'll go to the hut next door.
Make me a stealth check.
I thought you might ask for one eventually. A 9.
A 9. You're wandering
I
through.
will say I would have told like Nikki to not be near me. Like
Yeah, she's sort of hung back and sort of like posted herself up on like against some of the other cabins to sort of stay within eye line of the doors here. But you're outside if you've sort of moved around.
and I'm in like number 9, aren't I?
Yeah, that's sort of the area where you and Isla are posted up.
Yeah.
You sort of you creep around, and it's not so much that you knock anything. It's more just that like as you're moving, you step on a board that like sort of creaks, and you hear the sort of grinding on the blade like sort of stop, but not like a ton of movement.
Well, knock on the door of number 3.
You creep around and you sort of knock on the door of number 3. And there's sort of you hear the door sort of like click. Clearly this is one of the ones with a lock. And it cracks open very slightly. And from what you sort of catch, you think he might be holding one of the hand axes as he sort of peeks out towards you and frowns a little. It's you. Can I help you?
I was wondering if you could help me. something happened in the dungeon. I can't quite remember. I just remember waking up, but I thought I remembered seeing you before everything went fuzzy.
Make me a deception check, please.
Yeah. 19.
You see a look on his face that is skeptical, but as you explain yourself, there's almost like a grim look of like understanding. And he nods and seems to lower the axe a little. You'll probably want to speak to my sister, not me. She's next door. I can introduce you if you would like. I'm not sure the two of you have met.
No. I was meaning to. I asked someone if they could get us in contact. I have seen you before, right? You were the one who helped me on the ship. I put out my hand to shake.
It was weird, wasn't it? And you see he opens the door like properly, and his other hand is free, and he'll reach out and shake it.
That's right.
You fought well.
Thank you. So did you. The pin you had was expert.
Thank you.
Well, if it's not much of a bother, I wouldn't mind meeting them, but...
Not at all.
Is everything okay? I say, you seem tense.
No, I'm fine. It's just been a long day. And you see he puts the axe actually down on his bed and leaves the room seemingly unarmed. And he'll shut the door sort of behind him and step out to the cabin next door and knock on the door. Maze, it's that guy from the dungeon. And there's no response, and he frowns. Maze?
I kind of
Again.
look almost a little worried. Should we break the door down or something?
As you're sort of like asking this, you see he's already sort of like stepped back and he sort of shoulder bands into this. He's just going to make a strength check to look at this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It takes almost
did somebody
nothing
read the book she shouldn't have? Whoa.
You see the door sort of like immediately sort of slam in and wax the wall, and you see like a dent get put in there from the doorknob, and very quickly use Maze and sort of runs to the ground where she is led on the floor. There's no blood. There's almost no sign of a struggle beyond a few sort of slash marks and the quilt being sort of thrown to the side.
She's been assassinated.
She's not dead. As he sort of like checks and turns her around, she is breathing, but she is very much unconscious.
I reach into my pocket and immediately give them the healing elixir. I give it to the brother so that they this is a healing elixir. I bought it from the quartermaster.
He takes it and very quickly like basically goes into like CPR mode and is like he stabilizes her and begins sort of frantically looking around. Who the fuck did this?
I look around. How did they get in? Is that like the window open or something?
You go to look at the window. It is shut.
I get tense. Are they still here?
You see he fully like he doesn't even really need to move in this room because it's so small.
Yeah.
Grabs sort of like the edge of the bed and you watch him one-handed sort of lift and look up at this. You can make me a perception or investigation check.
I would love to do that. I'm afraid they're both +2s because my dump stats are whizzing in to my dismay. It's a 16. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. It's a green roll.
16. You see as he's sort of like looking around, almost looking for other threats to her immediately, and hasn't like fully checked over her beyond the health safe stuff. There is something that's sort of like, when he rolled her over, a piece of paper that's almost like fallen to the ground.
What's that?
He picks it up and like looks at it in his palm, and you see like a dark, grim look come across his face.
What's it say?
And you look over and you can see in his palm is a small scrap of paper with just the words payback and a black hand symbol.
The Shadow Hand. I murmur.
You're familiar?
I'm from Lowtown. I know their work, I say. But I'm from the part that avoids all that. For good reason.
Shit. He sort of reaches around. She's been looted. Fuck.
What's she missing?
Almost everything, bar her weapons. But she looks relatively unharmed. And as he's sort of like looking her over, you can see on the back of her neck what looks like a pretty hefty bruise.
She was attacked from behind. Looks like a clean stroke. They must have... Oh, I'm so glad I caught my tongue. I was about to say something I should not. Okay, and I look to this guy and say, well, if they've taken all of her things, that's not right. Is there someone we can contact? They must be among us, among the numbers here. This must have happened recently.
He seems to be almost like going through something as his breathing has become like more like heavier and almost like snarly as he sort of has put her back on the bed and sort of gotten her a little more decent. We have been having trouble with them for a while. Our families have. It's not anything that you should be concerned about. It's probably for the best that you pretend you didn't encounter us at all.
Well, I owe you a favor for helping me in that fight. Perhaps I can help you get your stuff back.
You see, he seems like very conflicted. You don't owe me anything for that. I was happy to help. And he turns away and doesn't quite meet your gaze. If you catch wind of anything regarding this, we will pay you handsomely.
I nod. Can you tell me anything about what was taken? Anything about what I should look out for? As I said, I'm from Lowtown. I'm good at, finding things like this out. Mainly so I could avoid it back then, but...
He kind of taps his hand. He seems to almost like have a bit of a tell where he's like tapping his fingers nervously. She had a ring that's been taken. Most of what's missing is gold, spark shards, resources that could be anywhere at this point, but I sure want that ring back. It's important to her.
I nod. A ring.
It's
I
a
help for that.
small signet ring. It's got a little hourglass symbol on it.
I kind of nod. Like the guy near the... Of course. Yeah.
He freezes a little bit but doesn't correct you.
I think I've seen one like it. I don't know if I just made a mistake there, but...
You don't know?
Okay.
And he nods.
I didn't say exactly who the guy was, but just that I've seen someone who has one. Like,
You don't have to justify yourself, baby. It's fine.
I know, but I don't want him to attack me. I don't. What does it mean? I will ask. Oh,
It's
is it like a family seal, or
not
should
a.
I not ask?
He seems like very nervous answering questions, and almost looks back to his sister who's unconscious as he does so. It was a gift from a friend, I think. I'm not sure the significance. I just know she likes it.
I think I know what it is. Yes, I want it too. Okay. I nod.
I'll handle this, and you should probably retire for this evening. I would appreciate your silence, and I'm sure when she's awake she can explain any questions you might have about the dungeon.
I nod. Well, I hope that potion, that elixir, helped.
I think it did. And he seems to guiltily sort of like rub his arm a little bit. This might help towards a few things. And he'll toss you a bag of 20 gold.
He gives it. I take it and I shake my head and I hand it back and I say, no, this is fine. I made enough gold today from the dungeon. I'm just trying to be a good person. Listen, I don't think I got your name.
Bastion Zather. He seems to sort of like swallow uncomfortably. I'm
when he says the name, I go like, and it's like clearly like I remember. I'm like, you're the. I understand.
Keep the 20 gold. Consider it bribery money if you must. Really, I insist.
I hesitate, but I will take it.
He seems relieved when you do.
Well, if you're sure, I won't tell anyone about what's happened here, and I'll try and find what I can do without putting myself at too much risk. But if you're being attacked here, then as you need a helping hand. On the first day when I came, I was looking to make an alliance with you because, well, your fighting was excellent. So if you need some backup...
I'll talk to my sister when she's awake.
Okay then. Well, whoever did this is clearly stealthy. They're not unskilled. So they managed to ambush your sister? I say, raising an eyebrow. Because I know it, but I don't
nods.
think yeah, right. Well, I guess keep your wits about you is what I'm trying to say. I'll do a quick walk around of the cabin and see if they left any obvious tracks. And then I'll bid my adieu.
Yeah, he sort of shuts the door and sees you out and begins sort of tending to his sister. And make me an investigation check as you do a little bit of a walk around.
17.
17. You look around and you don't see anything, but you realize in that absence there are no footsteps here that aren't yours. Not immediately around the cabin.
So, yeah, I walk around the cabin, and there's nothing. There's no footsteps apart from mine.
There's no set of footsteps other than yours. There are a ton out the front, but that's just where people have walked past and around this place. But actually, like, around the back, you're assuming if maybe they got in through the window somehow, they'd have to have gone up to the window, but you don't see anything.
How close together are these buildings? Like, is it possible that they got in through the roof and jumped onto the roof?
So these buildings are almost like in lines of like
Yeah.
10 buildings, and they're all connected. So all of the roofs are the same sort of like up and down sort of wooden V shape, but they're like solid wood. There's no little latch in. If someone was dexterous enough or had an ability that let them jump or fly or climb or anything like that, they 100% could have gotten around on the roofs, yeah.
Is she on the end of a row, or is there a house either side?
She's second to the end of a row.
Okay, so I know that on one side is their brothers, but there's a house to the other side?
Yep.
Does that seem occupied?
Not at the moment. You looking through the window and it's empty. You see a number of like relatively nice bags.
But no sign of entry in this house?
No.
Well, I'll head back to the main room, like back to the door, and I'll basically say that I couldn't see anything. And that my leading theory is they might have come in through the roof.
I'll have to keep our eyes up. Oh, shit. I don't mean to ask too much, but maybe keep an eye out for spatials. They tend to be able to pull off this kind of bullshit.
I nod. I'll do what I can. It was nice to meet you. Properly.
And you.
And then Sorry, what was he going to say?
No, it's fine.
I wasn't going to say anything, so...
No, it's okay. He's happy to end the conversation. And sort of semi-awkwardly sees you out. And you see sort of like from over the way Nikki's sort of like leaning up against the post, trying not to like draw attention to the fact that she's watching, but she sort of gives you a look of like, do I come over to you or do you want to come over to me?
I'll head over to her and we'll leave together.
What's going on?
Well, I might have accidentally just saved her life.
God, you are like that, aren't you?
Well...
I thought she just stole something from you. Tell me you at least got it back.
Well, here's the thing. She was robbed and nearly assassinated.
Shit.
But this is good. If we had tried to break in, then I could have been assumed to be the assassin, which would have been very bad for me. This way, I saved her life. She may see that she owes me something. And I managed to get a good scope out of the room. What I need isn't there, which means my new attention is on the person who stole from them. I need to get that book back.
Shit. Well... Dread.
That means we need to start turning our eyes to the people of the camp. Figuring out who can do what. You were the one who stole it, right? I give them a playful smile.
The time between you going and putting Isla on that bed in June's place? I don't think so. I mean, I'm good, but I think my thievery limits are stuck with gold at the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm not, trying to get myself too enwrapped in politics here. I'm just after the book.
Yeah. Say, if you're looking to find something specific, maybe Rat could help you.
Well, that's the thing. That's where we're going next.
All right. Well, let's make a move before that Weasley fella makes off with everyone at that table's coin.
Yeah. Hopefully we can catch him in a good mood. And yeah, we'll go for, and harass Rat. I think that went exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I think that went almost as like perfect as possible because I managed to like fully. I walked around the house to look for tracks, but it also gave me a reason why my tracks might be already around the side of houses. I gave them like I don't know. I feel like I saved their life. That's pretty big. That's going to be good points to like it to go towards my story. Was that not smooth? Okay, holy shit. Also, my god, the writing. Mwah, I love this. You've really been like, hey, you're gonna die if you you're gonna die if you don't have this book. Also, now this book has been stolen, so you have to engage with plot. Ah, so good, so smart. Okay, man, I'm so fucking hooked. Okay, I'm gonna go to Rat.
As you re-enter the rabble of the small tavern building, and you catch the eye of Rat, who sat over, dealing for a game of tables for today.
No,
We'll end the session here. I
not
think.
like this.
Thank you for playing, and I'll see you next time.
Well, the session tomorrow, right?
I gotta look away when you're staring me down with daggers. I'm not sure what to say, but no matter what, it don't matter. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. I don't know how you do it, yeah, but there's a rhythm in the room and I can't keep up. Or do you feel it moving? A bit of bitters in the wound, yeah, it feels like us. The comical light got me wide-eyed this time. I touch your tongue tied, go ahead and make up my mind. Ooh, lips are turning blue, chemicals in you, trying to take me out of my body. Ooh, with the Panasonic view, looking right through me, you're gonna take me out of my body. Out of my body. If it's alright, won't you say why? Know you got plans, but I got the time. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend a little bit more than we like to pretend. If it's alright, won't you say why? Tell me your sins and I'll tell you mine. Heard you told a friend, now I gotta mend. Give it a try, baby, pull the pin.